Good morning. The new Home Secretary says migrants will begin being returned to France immediately.
As Shabana Mahmood prepares to host world leaders to discuss the rise of people smuggling gangs.
But as crossings pass the 30,000 mark this weekend, just days into her role, can she get a grip on the growing crisis?
Breaking news overnight, an Australian mother who murdered her husband's parents by feeding them poisonous mushrooms has been sentenced to a minimum term of 33 years behind bars.
Unions gang up on the Prime Minister. They're warning him against watering down the new Workers' Rights Bill. We'll be speaking to the General Secretary of the TUC about that and more live from their annual conference. That's at 8:15 a.m.
3 years since Queen Elizabeth II's death, we'll be remembering the monarch who devoted her life to royal service.
Prince Harry's home, well, almost. The Duke of Sussex landing in London later today as he begins a 4-day visit back in Britain. But is it time King Charles reconciled with the modern-day prodigal son?
And in sport, at the age of 22, Carlos Alcaraz won his 6th Grand Slam title last night, beating Yannick Sinner in the final of the US Open. In cricket, after 2 disappointing ODI performances, England thrashed South Africa by the biggest margin ever in cricket history. And Rory McIlroy won the Irish Open in a nail-biting playoff yesterday.
Good morning. It's a day of sunshine and showers today, and it's really setting us up for an unsettled week ahead. Find out all the details coming up a little later.
Hello there, very good morning. Good to have you on board. The time, 1 minute past 6 o'clock on this Monday morning. I'm Eamonn Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
Just to start the programme today, some joyous news. We're all very happy around the GB News studios, and that is because Emily Carver and Patrick Christie's have announced the birth of their baby son.
Yes, and what a name it is. George Alexander Peter Christie's was born at 5:26 a.m. on Friday morning. Both mother and baby are doing well, and I think he's a baby Patrick. He's a mini Patrick. Look at his little face.
Yeah.
So cute. It's lovely news, isn't it?
Oh, that's
And a lovely name.
Well, he's got a lot of names.
It's a long name.
4 names, but a solid, strong name. George Alexander Peter Christie's.
How many middle names have you got?
Huh?
How many middle names have you got?
None.
Have you not got any middle names?
I'm playing Eamonn Holmes.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Ellie, have you got
Do you not
middle
have a
names?
confirmation name? One you threw in yourself?
Well, I do. You did have one.
I've got one. May.
Oh, have you?
What?
M-A-E. May.
Oh,
May.
right.
That's different. I had an Aunt May.
Yeah. It's an Irish name, isn't it? Yeah. What about you? What have you got?
Michael.
Very nice.
Paul
very
Michael,
strong.
which I was very excited about because it's like Paul Michael Glaser and Starsky and Hutch. So I used to run around thinking, yeah, it's not bad, is it?
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, my youngest son, Patrick and Emily's child is Alexander is his second name, and my son has this name Alexander. Well, it's supposed to be his main name, but then my wife on her birthbed realised. She said, "You wouldn't be calling this child after some football manager, would you?"
She clocked on.
And I so she wouldn't allow Alexander to be his main
You were
name.
rumbled.
Was it named after a certain football manager?
It was indeed.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Amazing. That's funny.
Didn't get anywhere with that, but there we go.
Nice try, though.
Maybe you could get a boy dog.
Was she
Oh,
still...
listen. I went to
I was going to ask you about
testing
this.
site on Saturday.
I saw you.
Oh, my word, it was so powerful, so amazing that these people, and I think what we should do on this programme is name the companies. I'm sort of loath to do it in case it's not true.
Yeah.
But the list of household name companies who use animal testing for their toothpaste, for their hand wash, for all sorts of rubbish. Absolutely. And those, if you saw the pictures of those animals, if you heard the squealing of those animals having stuff put into their eyes, down their throats, absolutely horrendous.
Well, I got a beagle, and I just the thought of it just
apparently the most trusting type of animal dog that you could get.
Yeah,
And that's why they
because
use them, isn't it?
They use them. And it's absolutely heartbroken, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, good on you highlighting.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
my new campaign. That's what
Yeah.
we're going to be doing. Top story this morning is the newly appointed Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, says migrants will be returned to France immediately.
Well, that's as she prepares to host the Security Alliance alongside ministers from countries like America and Canada to discuss the rise of people smuggling gangs.
Everybody's out of control on this. Why do they pretend they're actually going to get a grip of this? Because they won't. This comes after 1,000 migrants crossed the Channel on the Home Secretary's first full day in office. That brings the total this year to over 30,000.
Well, this morning, a Daily Mail exclusive has reported that the government is looking to take over private rentals as an alternative to housing asylum seekers in hotels.
That'll be another mess, won't it? Goodness me. Former Conservative advisor Oscar Redrop joins us in the studio here. Now, tell us about Miss Mahmood, first of all. Well, why did... what's her name? Who was the previous Home Secretary?
Yvette Cooper.
What's happened to her? Everybody, no matter what anybody's saying, this is a demotion for Yvette Cooper. I mean, the highest offices in the land, Prime Minister, Chancellor, Home Secretary, and then she becomes now the Foreign Secretary. What did she do wrong?
There's a lot of briefing going on after the fact that she was simply too indecisive, and that was the feeling anyway. A little bit prickly at times and ultimately too indecisive on the issue which we all know, and it's not just your viewers, it's people, it's every single corner of this country know is one of the top issues, and in fairness, a very difficult
This is what
issue
will
to
win
solve.
the next election or
For
lose
sure.
the next election.
You're 90% of the way there if you can do that for the Labour Party. They have the reins, so some proactivity would be nice, admittedly. And I think after a year of her in that role, it was just clear as day, even to someone like Keir Starmer, clear as day that she just wasn't delivering. And they are under so much pressure. And it was interesting that it happened during Reform's conference, when there is, real tough talking,
Yes.
real momentum, real energy there. And, what a baptism of fire for the new Home Secretary. The numbers are getting, 30,000 this year on most of the front pages.
But Oscar, I just don't get. We're seeing pictures of Yvette Cooper there. What is in her advantage not to talk tough on this? It's an easy one. It's an open door to kick. That she can talk tough on this. No one's going to say, "Oh, terrible, terrible, terrible," what she's doing. What was her problem?
I think it takes, and I think that the latest Home Secretary, we may fall into a similar problem, but ultimately it takes creative thinking and thinking outside the box to solve this problem. A one-in, one-out deal, which the government talk about as some brilliant, amazing thing that's going to solve it all. Not a chance. Pumping money into this crime agency that no one really has any accountability or know much about, that's meant to target the gangs upstream. That's not working. And so, to be honest with you, and I'm going to, in terms of frustration for your viewers, you can have who the hell you want in that job. The personalities don't really matter. If they're not willing to do the big, bold things, then we're not going to solve this problem. So I'm sure, in a year's time, when we're talking about the latest Home Secretary, if they're not willing to do the hard stuff,
She is
We'll be
open,
in the
though,
same place.
to be fair to her, she's
Yeah.
open to reforming the ECHR, isn't she? And
Limiting it,
she's talking already about plans about building on MOD land instead of the use of hotels and private accommodation. What do you make of that?
So you're quite right, Ali. In fairness, Mahmood is seen as actually being really, as Labour heads would go, really tough on this, and I think gets it, and has probably watched Yvette Cooper slightly flailing around on this. So there are things like building the processing centres. There are things like limiting the powers of the ECHR. I mean, it remains to be seen. But that does go some of the way to solving the problem.
And saying as well on Saturday, sorry to interrupt you, but he's saying on Saturday with these record-breaking numbers, or second highest days of crossing, I should say, that it's utterly unacceptable. I mean, that's tough rhetoric, isn't it?
That is tough. That is tough rhetoric. In fairness to her, she actually, I think, has a harder job than Yvette Cooper because she's coming in now at a time where they can't point to. They had a fun year in a way, saying Tories this, Tories that. It's all their fault. It's all their fault. It's a year fast forward. Things have gotten worse. So she doesn't have that benefit Yvette Cooper has. She needs to show delivery almost immediately. I think she's probably, for the reasons you just listed and the noises she has been making, she is better placed than Yvette Cooper to do that. Could she be the person to dig out Keir Starmer from the deepest problematic hole as Prime Minister? I think it remains to be seen. I'm not sure. I think unless you do things like Tosi leaving the ECHR, and I think if they get on top of things like the asylum hotels quicker, that will be a big test for her. I'm not saying she can't do it, but that will definitely be a KPI, if you'll remember the public, to hold them account to. And then there's, we'll see with this Daily Mail story, if the approach to the migrant hotels is simply to scatter them, the asylum seekers, through communities in this country and private rentals, in some ways I think that's going to stick in the throats of taxpayers even more with a housing crisis.
Yeah, it's sought after housing, isn't it?
Sought after housing.
And those migrant figures are growing by 2. Beyonce and Jay-Z are to join the Cotswold set. They're buying a £18 million estate
good for them.
in the Cotswolds.
Wow. High-profile stuff, that, isn't it?
The Americans love the Cotswolds.
I love the Cotswolds.
Well, it's a lovely part of the world. Who can blame them? Yeah. And it's very Englishy, isn't it?
Oscar, stay with us. We're going to ask you now, as an advisor, what you would be advising a Home Secretary to do about all of this next time that you're back. If you've got anything you want to contest, which Oscar's been saying today, or agree with him, please do get in touch. Have your say. There's how you do it. www.gbnews.com/your say.
Now, a government spokesperson has previously said that the new accommodation model is designed to work more closely with councils to ensure basic temporary accommodation is available for asylum seekers, reducing pressure on local housing markets and with full consideration of potential impacts on local communities.
Breaking news coming out of Australia this morning. The woman who murdered her husband's parents and his aunt using poisonous mushrooms has been sentenced for life in jail.
Yes, Erin Patterson has been handed a minimum 33-year prison sentence in a case that has gripped Australia and the world.
In July, she was found guilty of killing her mother-in-law, Gail Patterson, her father-in-law, Donald Patterson, and Gail's sister, Heather Wilkinson. GB News reporter Sophie Reaper with this.
An act of evil that rocked a small Australian town. In July of 2023, Erin Patterson lured 4 members of her family to her house with the promise of a home-cooked meal. They sat at this table and began to eat a beef Wellington they thought had been made with love. Instead, it had been made with poisonous death-cap mushrooms and was designed to kill them. All of the diners were initially treated at Leongatha Hospital. However, although she too alleged to have been taken ill, CCTV showed Erin stopping at a service station before going to the hospital. She also discharged herself from treatment after just 1 day. Meanwhile, just a week later, the toxic lunch would claim the lives of Erin's mother-in-law, Gail, her father-in-law, Donald, and Gail's sister, Heather. That left the only survivor of the meal as Heather's husband, Ian Wilkinson. Following a huge police investigation, Erin Patterson was initially charged with 3 counts of murder and 5 counts of attempted murder. That included 4 counts of also attempting to poison her estranged husband Simon on several previous occasions. In fact, he told a pre-trial hearing that he'd been invited to the lunch in 2023, but ultimately cancelled last minute. He said, "After the first time I got sick, I had the idea I got sick from Erin's food. As a result, he began keeping a spreadsheet of his wife's cooking and how it had made him ill." The previous alleged poisonings left Simon close to death, leaving him temporarily paralysed and with part of his bowel removed. However, the prosecution eventually dropped the 4 attempted murder charges relating to Simon on the eve of the trial, and so they were never heard before a jury. In April this year, a court began to hear details of the 3 murder and 1 attempted murder charges faced by Erin Patterson. Throughout the trial, Patterson maintained her innocence, calling the deaths a terrible accident. Despite this, in July, a jury found her guilty on all 4 counts. Now, the so-called mushroom murderer, she awaits a life behind bars, as her remaining friends and family attempt to pick up the pieces of their lives and move on. Sophie Reaper, GB News.
Do you know what I would do with her while she's behind bars? I would feed her mushrooms every day.
That.
Yeah, non-poisonous ones, obviously. But did she ever say why she wanted to kill these people?
No, I'm not sure, actually.
I think she did.
We'll have to have a look.
Yeah.
We'll have to have a look at the court records. But I do know that she was plating up for herself and her children and plating up for her in-laws, and she used different coloured plates. So obviously the poisonous mushrooms were on one colour, let's say blue, and then her and the children had a red plate. It was quite obvious, really, looking back.
Gosh.
Anyway,
crazy
story.
Reflect on that and reflect whatever else Richard England, the vicar of Crofton Parish, has to consider today on this Monday.
The GB News Daily Reflection.
Hi, I'm Richard England, Vicar of Crofton Parish in the Church of England. Have you ever had to keep a secret? Not something small, but something really juicy. Something that you just wanted to tell, but couldn't. In Mark's Gospel, one of the 4 accounts of Jesus' life in the New Testament, there's an odd thing that happens. When Jesus helps someone, heals them, he then tells them to keep it a secret. What a strange thing for him to do. Most of the time, the people ignored Jesus anyway. Despite his efforts, the stories about the healings spread far and wide. So why try to make it a secret at all? Part of the reason for this secret keeping is that people weren't ready to accept Jesus for who he was. It would take the resurrection for that to happen. From that point on, the Christian claims about Jesus are no longer secrets to be kept, but something to be shared as widely as possible. And that's still true today. Jesus' identity is no longer a secret, but something shared around the whole world.
Now, at 17 minutes past 6, let's take a look at some other stories coming into the newsroom this morning.
Breaking news overnight, a father who's been hiding in New Zealand in the wilderness there with his 3 children is believed to have been shot dead after a confrontation with police. Thomas Phillips vanished with his 2 daughters and son in 2021 and has evaded authorities ever since. One of the children was found with Phillips, and a manhunt for the 2 children who are still missing is underway.
President Trump has threatened Russia with more sanctions just hours after Moscow launched the largest aerial attack on Ukraine since the war began. At least 4 people were killed, including a mother and a 3-month baby. 40 people were injured and are receiving medical attention.
Stargazers across the world got the opportunity to witness a total lunar eclipse last night. I looked at the moon, full moon, this morning.
Oh.
It was as white as milk, so it was. Also known as a blood moon. It happens when the Earth comes between the sun and a full moon. The last total lunar eclipse visible in the UK was in 2022, and there's unlikely to be another one until next summer. Well, there you go. I've missed it, so there we are. Do you care whether you saw the moon eclipse or not?
I'm quite into the moon, actually. I go out and look at it sometimes.
And howl at it, do you?
Yeah, well, yeah, sometimes. Yeah, I think it's really nice to look at, so I'll be looking at it the next
we've
couple
got
of
a
days.
new saint. We've got a British saint. The Pope has honoured this teenager, and he's
born in Britain.
Yeah, yesterday made the first millennial saint at a mass in Rome. 80,000 people attended it. He's Carlos Acutis, who died of leukemia in 2006. He was aged 15, and he was canonised after Catholic investigators claimed he was responsible for 2 miracles.
Yeah.
So that's a new saint there.
Yeah, the first millennial saint.
Yeah.
He is.
There we go.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Very good.
And he was using the internet to talk about his faith and talk about Catholicism.
Poor young lad to die at that age. And let's get a weather update. Craig Snell on duty for that this morning.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast. Well, it's going to be a day of sunshine and shower for most of us. And compared to the weekend, it will be feeling a little bit fresher out there. So we do start the day with lots of sunshine around, especially out towards the east. In the west, we're starting to already see some showers develop, and as the day goes on, they'll gradually become a little bit more widespread across the UK. Always most frequent out towards the west, and some of these showers could be potentially on the heavy and thundery side. As I mentioned, compared to the weekend, temperatures will be down a few degrees, but still reaching around 21 or 22 degrees in the southeast. So I think if you're in the sunshine, it won't feel too bad out there. So looking into the evening in a little bit more detail across southern parts of the UK, any showers in the east generally beginning to fade away, but they will continue for a little while yet across the West Country, parts of Wales, northwest England too. Also, a similar story for Northern Ireland and Scotland. Western parts of Northern Ireland and Scotland continuing to see some showers. Again, some of these showers could be on the heavy side, but the further east you are, the better chance of staying dry with some late spells of sunshine. And really, as we move throughout the course of the night, very little changes. Still the risk of some showers across the west. Greatest chance of the clearest skies out towards the east. And then subtle differences down towards the southwest later on in the night. We start to see the winds pick up ahead of this next showery feature, which will be arriving during the course of Tuesday. Ahead of it, though, under the clear skies, turning quite chilly in the countryside, but I think most towns and cities staying in double figures. So for most of us on Tuesday, it does start off bright with lots of sunshine, but this band of showery rain across the southwest will gradually spread into parts of Wales and Northern Ireland too. So quite a disappointing day to come here with the rain potentially on the heavy side in places. Ahead of it, largely dry, could just see the odd shower around, but in the sunshine, not feeling too bad out there, with again in the southeast highs reaching 21 or 22 degrees.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Did you get that alert yesterday on your phone at 3 p.m?
Yeah.
What did it sound like? Really loud?
Well, they send it out to important people who are important to the country, so that they'll save their lives.
So you got one?
So you didn't get one?
I did not get one. Everybody else in the world seems to have got one. And then I thought mine might come late, but no, I'm still waiting.
Yeah,
still hasn't gone off.
I've gone down the list and gone, no, she doesn't matter. No, we're not interested in her. She can die. That's it.
So if there is an earthquake or a national emergency, I just wouldn't know.
But there is going to be a national... I mean, you see, they're testing us with all these, they're getting us used to all of these because we're on the verge of World War III.
Oh, no, don't say that.
But that's what it is. Why else would they be doing it? Well, we're not going to get an earthquake, are we?
Well, I'm just a bit concerned that I still have yet to get my alert. So I probably need to investigate that. If there is something going on, I'd probably quite like to know about it. Anyway, let us know what you think. gbnews.com/you'll say.
Yeah, it was quite noisy when it went off at 3 o'clock yesterday, and yeah, there it was.
Gave you a fright?
No, it didn't give me a fright. It didn't give me a fright at all. But
does it stop, or do you have to stop it yourself?
It stops.
It stops?
Yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't know, didn't get one.
Still to come, Prince Harry is in London, or will be in London today, 3 years since the death of his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth, but will there be a royal reconciliation between the Duke and his dad, King Charles? We're discussing that next.
This is our country, and we think it's amazing. From high tea to the high street, we love it all. Even the rain, we like that too. There's nowhere else we'd rather be. That's why we're here to be the fearless champion of Britain, its voices and its values. Because we are GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
It's Patrick Christie's Tonight, and here we do things differently.
It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it?
It's explosive.
I mean, this is very good.
It's lively.
850. Your government sat there, Sean, and it did nothing.
It's controversial.
And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born.
It's everything you need to kickstart your evening.
Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it.
That's Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
We're just saying with great surprise, 3 years today since the death of Queen Elizabeth II.
Yeah, I can't believe it's already been 3 years. Well, the Queen was, of course, Britain's longest reigning monarch before she passed away in 2022.
In other royal news, Prince Harry, he will be in London today for the first time in 5 months.
Yes, despite no longer being a working royal, he's set to carry out a run of engagements, although it's not clear if the Duke will reunite with the Prince of Wales, his brother, or his father, the King.
Of course it's clear. There's no chance. Joining us to mark the royal milestone, royal commentator Richard Palmer. I'm saying no chance, Richard. Would you see that as no hope and Bob hope, or what way would you see it?
Morning. I think the chances of reconciliation with Prince William are pretty slim at the moment. There's a bigger chance with the King, I think. But everybody is playing their cards close to their chest, not saying whether there's going to be a meeting between the King and Prince Harry while he's back on this trip. We don't really know how long he's back for. I mean, I think we're expecting 4 days, but will he stay perhaps for the Duchess of Kent's funeral on September the 16th? No decision's been made so far on that, as far as I understand. But I do think there will be some sort of reconciliation, at least between father and son, at some point, even if it doesn't come on this trip.
It's been described as an unofficial royal tour, this trip to the UK. What will Prince Harry be up to whilst he's here for at least these 4 days, although, as you say, it could be a longer trip this time round? Well,
so he's at the Well Child Awards today, a charity for seriously ill children that he's been patron of for a very long time now. That's happening in a London hotel later on today. Tomorrow he's going to Nottingham, announcing quite a big charity donation for children in need, I think. And he's going to be spending quite a lot of time in the city. It's the place where he and Meghan first went when they got engaged on their first official engagement together, a royal engagement together. It's a city that's close to his heart. He's worked with disadvantaged children in the St Anne's district there for a number of years now. And then I think he'll be catching up with some of his other charities while he's here, but not all of his plans have been announced yet.
These are his charities he's catching up with. He's not there as a working royal, or, well, he's not supposed to be. So who pays for all of this, Richard?
He'll have to pay for all of it himself. He'll be paying for his staff who've come over with him, the security team that will have come over with him. So it's quite a costly exercise. He's got a big mortgage to pay. I think about £6 million on his big house in Montecito in California. So he's got to keep earning money. So in addition to doing this sort of thing, he's got to find commercial avenues to earn a living as well.
OK, Richard, got to leave it there. Thanks for your time this morning. Appreciate you putting all that into context for us. We'll leave it there. Thank you.
Now, if you're travelling to work or school this morning, here's your traffic and travel update.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M20 westbound faces major disruptions due to a vehicle fire between Junction 2 and Junction 1. Lane closures are in place and motorists should proceed with caution. Road users on the M8 eastbound should know it is closed at Junction 29 for overnight roadworks, with a signed diversion route in effect. Additionally, the M8 eastbound junctions 27 and 26 on slips remain closed for safety. Road users are advised to consider alternative routes. And on the trains, expect disruptions on the Gatwick Express between Clapham Junction and London Victoria, with buses replacing northern train services between Corkickle and Whitehaven. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Carlos Alcaraz triumphed at the US Open. It was Clash of the Titans last night. And we were talking about, look at that, he looks a right Titan, doesn't he?
He's only 22, I can't
But it's
believe
not
it.
tennis, you can't go on dressed like that. But anyway, but...
I agree with you on
there
that
is.
one.
He's the winner, and Paul Coyte will tell us about that next.
Welcome back to Britain's Newsroom with Andrew and Beth.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christie is here.
I'm Michelle Dewberry, Britain's News Channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection, tune in to GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's News Channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
Practice Trump made a good start. No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's News Channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's News Channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's News Channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
isn't it?
no,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's News Channel.
Well, it's time now for the Great British Giveaway, and it's our biggest prize package to date, worth over £104,000. Have you seen this one yet?
Wiser.
I know. Thought this would get your eye. Brand new 4-berth motorhome and £30,000 in tax-free cash. Here are all of the details that you need.
You're not going to want to miss our greatest Great British Giveaway so far. You could bank an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like. And if that wasn't enough, you'll also get to drive away in this brand new motorhome. With thanks to Marquis Leisure, this brand new 2025 Benimar Primero could be yours. It comes with all the mod cons you'd expect from a vehicle worth over £74,000 and comfortably sleeps 4 people. This prize package is worth over £104,000. And remember, if you can dream it, you can drive it away. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. The winner will be contacted live on GB News, week commencing 10th of November. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Good luck. Yes, sports time. Paul Coetzee with us. Morning.
Morning.
He's digging out pictures of him and the Queen.
There's so many pictures of me and various queens here, but that's what I'm doing.
We are going to share them once he's found them.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a whole album he's finding
Is there?
through, yeah.
What is it, under Queen, under monarchs?
Celebs.
Under, she gets a special section
Noteworthy
there.
people, very good.
US Open last night, we got to the final of the US... Oh, hello.
Oh, yeah, gosh, you got those up quickly,
Oh,
didn't
wow, you did
there
that
you go.
so quickly. Oh, look at that. What did she say to you?
Oh, well, she said to me, you must have interviewed a lot of people in your time. I said, I have, Mom. I said, I've interviewed everybody in your family with one exception. She said, really? Who's that? I said, you, Mom. But we can fix that today.
Oh, very good. Cheeky, I like that,
I said, if we move to the end of the stage here, there's a camera set up, then I could do a little chat with you, and then that would give me a complete house here. And you're supposed to get a minute and a half chatting with her, and she went,
Move along. Wasn't there a sign? Was it the handbag? Or what was the sign that you used to give?
She pushes your hand back. She's holding your hand there, and when she's finished with you, she pushes your hand.
And is that you still holding on?
That's people do.
And you were
Please don't let me
lingering.
go.
Yeah. And you two are matching in your blue.
That's nice.
If you say so, love.
You coordinated, look.
You say so.
Oh, that's amazing.
By the way, that's me with the ropes. Did you see that? Just you can't see my head there. That's me there, just with the ropes over my shoulder.
Right. Anyway, Carlos Alcaraz, he dressed terribly. I thought.
Do you think so? You didn't like the pink?
Didn't like it. Didn't
I
like
didn't like the black
tennis
socks with the pink.
the vest he wore.
You know what, though? For a tennis player, you can wear what he damn well likes the way he plays tennis. My goodness. 6th Grand... He's 22 years old.
I can't believe he's only 22.
6th Grand Slam, beat Yannick Sinner. These are by far the best 2 tennis players on the planet. So let's see. There we are. That was 1 point. Look at it. I think he looks good. See, he can carry off whatever he wants. Let's see the final point anyway. So at 22, he's level with Boris Becker and Stefan Edberg on 6 Grand Slams. At 22, it's just remarkable. And then you've got... They're sharing everything between the 2 of them. So he's won 2 this year. There's Sinner, who's also won a couple, who doesn't look too disappointed because... Oh, by the way, there's the golf swing. And who do we see? Sergio Garcia again.
Oh.
His favourite golfer, who's not playing in the Ryder Cup. But there we are. There's the lift of the trophy there for the US Open. It was delayed a little bit because President Trump wasn't there on time because of all the security. But then they finally got it going. Loads of celebs there like Bruce Springsteen, etc. Let's have a look at what Carlos had to say after the game, because it's basically he's seeing a lot of Yannick Sinner.
It's unbelievable what you're doing during the whole season. Great level during the every tournament you're playing. I'm seeing you more than my family, so it's Jesus. So it's it's great to share the court, to share the locker rooms, to share everything with you.
Look, see, they're spending so much time together. One other thing, there was one thing that happened at the US Open a couple of weeks ago, the stealing of the cap.
There was.
You know, taking it away from the kid, it's happened again. This time at baseball, the Philadelphia Phillies. Have a look at this. Now, Friday night it was. The ball goes for a home run. This man catches it, takes it over to his little boy. There you go, son. And who comes marching over? This other woman. And she's going, I got it first. I was there first. And he's like, no, you weren't. Yes, I was. I was there first. So he's like, had enough of it. She wasn't. She wasn't first. He got it. So she's just given him a mouthful. And in the end, he's just like, OK, whatever. Just take the damn ball and clear off. So she storms off. She's public enemy #1 now for this. So this has gone everywhere. And since then, the boy has been handed a signed bat. He's been given loads of souvenirs, even that night. But look at her. If it was a free-for-all, he didn't take it off the woman, and she demands that she gets the baseball and demands that the kid gives it to her. Oh.
Imagine stealing from a child.
I know. I hope she's happy with it.
Well, the kid had the last laugh.
Yeah, well, kind of.
Rightly so.
Thank you. When you come back, we're going to be talking about 2 great Northern Irish wins yesterday. No, sorry. One won, one wasn't. The Rory McIlroy at the Irish Open, brilliant. And the Northern Ireland team against Germany.
I thought you might like to talk about that. Yeah, I thought you might like to.
Yeah, I thought we played very well against Germany last night. It was good. It was on BBC 1 in Northern Ireland. It was on BBC 2 in England. 1 win, 1 moral win. How about that? Yes, good. Very well put. Very well put. Thank you very much. Still to come. Celebrities in the Cotswolds. Some of the biggest names in the music industry are set to join the Beckhams in the English countryside. Find out who with Chris Akabusi and Dawn Neeson next. We're back after the short break.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello there. An unsettled couple of days to come across parts of Spain and Italy with some heavy showers around. But for the Canaries, actually, next couple of days, largely fine, apart from the odd shower around. Plenty of sunshine, actually, for parts of Portugal and western Spain. But for eastern Spain, the Balearics, parts of Italy, southern France, some heavy and thundery downpours around. But for much of Greece and Turkey, fine couple of days to come, with temperatures here reaching the high 20s.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
There's a big change in the age of parents, so first-time parents are getting older and older. There's been a significant increase in the number of men over 60 becoming fathers, a 15% increase in just 1 year, and an increase in the number of babies born to foreign parents. But what's really, really concerning is that what's called the total fertility rate, that's the average number of babies that each woman has over her childbearing life, has gone down again, and it's now at a record low, just 1.41 children on average per woman. And of course, we need about 2.1 to have a stable population. Now, a lot of people think, well, why don't we want the population to decline? We've been warning about burgeoning population for 50, 60 years now. But I think the really important factor to consider here is it's not really the overall size of the population that matters so much as the proportion of young to old, because that is what we need in order to have enough people working, enough people paying taxes to support people who are retired, to support people who are sick. And that is going down and down and down with huge economic consequences.
Do the figures divide it so that they can say whether the children are of African heritage or of this or of that? Does it tell you those sorts of statistics as well? And if so, what are the... What are they?
Yes, so we know the nationality of mothers who give birth. And in terms of foreign mothers, the greatest number of babies are born to women of Indian and Pakistani heritage. So they are the biggest numbers, the biggest nationalities. But I think what's really important to note is that even with the huge and unpopular levels of immigration that we've had, Even with those levels, the birth rate is still falling and the ratio of young to old is still going down.
GB News, the People's Channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Okoye, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun. No, he didn't say that, Dave. I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Chris Akabusi and Dawn Neeson are here this morning. So tell me, guys, if it comes to live anywhere, would you live in the Cotswolds? Because Beyonce and a rapper called Jay-Z are set to join the Cotswolds set.
The Cotswolds is a very lovely part of the country, and it's not a million miles away from where I live. So, like, my son went to school down there in Kingham for a few years. So it's a lovely place to go. Beckhams are there, Clarkson's there, the Cameron is there, Ellen DeGeneres, who you might not know, but some sort of American chat show host, she's there, although she's leaving at the moment. So my thought is, how does this influx of these sort of major celebrities affect the day-to-day living in the Cotswolds? Because it's lovely. Well, you can see it used to be a lovely, quaint place, but now there's a load more American tourists coming each time.
They're not going to mix with anybody.
No, well,
more like the traffic on the narrow roads.
Yeah.
When they bring their entourage and their big
I think
cars.
it's in front. When JD Vance was holidaying in the Cotswolds this summer, they complained because it literally gridlocked the roads, the security detail.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, Beyonce and JD don't go anywhere without huge security detail. And the roads down there are tiny. They're not designed for coaches and huge motorcades, so that's going to cause even more havoc.
Yeah, and so the Cotswolds is a place a lot of people go for a weekend, spend lots of money in expensive restaurants and getting trinkets. But will these guys be part and parcel of that sort of experience?
And also those expensive restaurants you're talking about, Clarkson's farm, Jeremy Clarkson, he tried to buy a pub in the Cotswolds.
Oh, I saw that one. That was good, wasn't it?
Found 50 for sale.
Yeah.
He said basically everywhere he went was for sale.
Yeah.
Because people aren't making any money out of those things. So maybe what I'm saying to you is maybe it would be quite a dull place to be.
Yeah, but for the celebrities, it doesn't matter, does it? Because he or she comes in, they've got all of their, like you said, their detail around them. It's nice. I mean, I love the peace and quiet, and you've got this great big set called the Cotswolds, as opposed to.
They'll build a massive compound as well, won't they? They'll build a record studio and a recording studio and a cinema, and they'll make their own entertainment, won't they?
Be there
but for the locals, it's different because, like you said, people are losing work. There's not enough work coming through. It's very
talking about work, I think this is appalling. This is front page of the Times today, and the Times is reporting that 2 GPs shut every week, with more than 1,000 shutting since 2018, right? So what is happening to all our doctors? Why does no one want to be a GP, Dawn?
Well, because what people tend to forget is most doctors, most GP surgeries are small, independent private businesses. They're not part of the NHS. They are run as an independent business. And a lot of the workers' rights bill that we're going to talk about later, the national insurance changes, is putting even more pressure on these basically small businesses. So they just can't cope with the strain, the amount of work they are now facing and the amount of support they are getting from the government.
And they can't afford the staff.
They can't afford the staff. They can't literally afford to stay open, a lot of them. And the pressure on the mental health in GPs is through the roof at the moment. It's an incredibly hard job to do. They're snowed under with the number of patients they get, and that's the main reason. It's almost impossible to run a GP surgery now. So it's all very well West Streeting, saying, oh, you know, we are going to put more money, more funding into local care, so you haven't got to travel to main hospital hubs. But it doesn't seem to be happening.
Well, all I'm going to say is what went wrong with GPs. Now, I can only think to when I was a child.
Exactly.
And feel free to contradict me or whatever. if I had a temperature, if I was sick in any way, if anybody was sick in the house, the doctor called out to the house.
Correct.
Why does that not happen anymore?
But correct. So exactly the same for myself. Living in Enfield, we knew our doctor, and they came and they looked
by name.
Yes, yeah, and they looked at all the children and checked out, and it was much more personal, much more personal service. Whereas now, I mean, look, I've got not complaining about my surgery. They're good people, but you just know you've only got 80 minutes. You're in and you're out.
Yeah,
and it's not the same one,
isn't it?
Yeah, but you're not guaranteed an appointment anyway. You know,
I will get an appointment, but you're not going to see the same doctor. So your first 8 minutes is taking him 2 minutes to go through your records and see what happened before. Whereas a guy that used to come to your house knows you from when you was year dot to sniffling.
It is astonishing. In the space of, 30 years, we've gone from GPs being willing to do home visits, certainly if you've got sick children, to you having to do everything online now.
Yeah.
If you can't get to your doctor, you have to fill forms in online or phone. It's frightening how fast it's changing, and not for the good.
Well, a large part of it is down to the surgeon population, isn't it, in the last 30 years or so?
That's not helping, obviously.
Well, no, it's not helping. And it links, doesn't it, to the Daily Telegraph front page this morning, Dawn. Record 30,000 migrants crossed the Channel so far this year.
Oh, yes, the ongoing migration. We have a new Home Secretary now in Shabana Mahmood. More than 1,000 migrants arrived in the UK on small boats on Saturday, her very first day in office. Now, the Daily Mail have done the headline, there's 30,000 reasons why Labour won't stop the boats. But, I mean, I just think it's an almost impossible task. I mean, Shabana Mahmood replaces Yvette Cooper. She was former Justice Secretary. Some say she did quite well in that role, but the prisons issue and releasing prisoners, that didn't go down too well. Some say she's talking tough in this role, and she can talk tough all she wants, but her hands are tied. Her hands are tied mostly by her boss, Keir Starmer, and certainly by the European Convention on Human Rights and the lawyers in this country. There's a lot that she has to do, so she can talk tough. And she's a...
Why did he get rid of Yvette Cooper?
Because she was rubbish, I think, mostly. Not to put too fine a point on it.
I think with her, there's an equivocation. I mean, she's married to Ed Balls. So you can imagine some of the conversations in the house when she's talking about, we're going to do this, and he's thinking, well, hang on, are you sure about that? Think about their background, where they're coming from. Rubbish is a strong word. But, yeah, I think she's prevaricated on a lot of issues, and right now, they need action. The Labour Party now need action because they... recognise that...
But with Dawn's just saying that under Starmer there won't be action. I mean, the thing is, if I was Prime Minister, I'd be sitting saying, oi, you, Home Secretary, why is this not going on? Why is this not happening? You would be asking questions if you wanted that to happen.
If you wanted that, that's the point. You've nailed the point, Eamonn.
So what's the point of changing the Home Secretary?
Well, exactly. There's lots of, you know what the main point of changing the Home Secretary is? Because both the Conservative Party and Reform have come out with these hardline immigration plans.
So they've got to look tough.
So they've got to actually at least be sounding like they're going to do the same thing, even if in their hearts, and I agree with you, I don't think this is in Keir Starmer's heart, I think he's got to be doing it because Reform are living rent-free in his head, basically.
But why wouldn't they want to stop the boats if this is what the next election is going to be won on? I mean, if they want a second term, they're going to need to stop the boats.
Well, exactly. I think I'm not Keir Starmer, obviously, but I'm thinking the way he's thinking is maybe he can sort out a way to get the immigration, the asylum processing done faster, and that will put an... It's not going to happen. But the problem with Yvette...
in space.
Exactly. The problem with Yvette Cooper, it was always twinkling around the edges. Smash the gangs, one in, one out, and we've got a new one in, one out deal with Germany now.
We're doing one in and one out already. We're only going to start it this week.
Well, yes.
I think Shabana Mahmood will be a lot tougher cookie than Yvette Cooper was.
Yes, I think she will, yeah. I mean, she's what you call blue Labour. She's on the right side of the Labour Party.
Didn't she say as a young lady that Margaret Thatcher...
Margaret Thatcher was a heroine, absolutely.
Exactly. So I think you might be... I mean, whether she actually manages it or not, I think you'll be surprised what she does get going.
Yeah, well, she's got a tough task ahead of her.
She has.
Dawn, Chris, thank you very much. We're going to see you in about 45 minutes' time. Let us know what you think on any of those stories. gbnews.com/your say. Now let's get a check on the weather, shall we, with Craig Snell.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast. Well, it's going to be a day of sunshine and showers for most of us. and compared to the weekend, it will be feeling a little bit fresher out there. So we do start the day with lots of sunshine around, especially out towards the east. In the west, we're starting to already see some showers develop, and as the day goes on, they'll gradually become a little bit more widespread across the UK. Always most frequent out towards the west, and some of these showers could be potentially on the heavy and thundery side. As I mentioned, compared to the weekend, temperatures will be down a few degrees, but still reaching around 21 or 22 degrees in the southeast. So I think if you're in the sunshine, it won't feel too bad out there. So looking into the evening in a little bit more detail across southern parts of the UK, any showers in the east generally beginning to fade away, but they will continue for a little while yet across the West Country, parts of Wales, northwest England too. Also, a similar story for Northern Ireland and Scotland. Western parts of Northern Ireland and Scotland continuing to see some showers. Again, some of these showers could be on the heavy side, but the further east you are, the better chance of staying dry with some late spells of sunshine. And really, as we move throughout the course of the night, very little changes. Still the risk of some showers across the west. Greatest chance of the clearest skies out towards the east. And then subtle differences down towards the southwest later on in the night. We start to see the winds pick up ahead of this next showery feature, which will be arriving during the course of Tuesday. Ahead of it, though, under the clear skies, turning quite chilly in the countryside, but I think most towns and cities staying in double figures. So for most of us on Tuesday, it does start off bright with lots of sunshine, but this band of showery rain across the southwest will gradually spread into parts of Wales and Northern Ireland too. So quite a disappointing day to come here with the rain potentially on the heavy side in places. Ahead of it, largely dry, could just see the odd shower around, but in the sunshine, not feeling too bad out there, with again in the southeast highs reaching 21 or 22 degrees.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Today's road updates include some significant issues impacting your travels. On the M20 westbound, a vehicle fire between Junction 3 and Junction 1 has resulted in all lanes being closed. Normal traffic conditions are expected to return later today. Please anticipate possible delays in the vicinity. Moving on to the trains, there are disruptions on the Gatwick Express between Clapham Junction and London Victoria. Additionally, Northern has arranged buses to replace trains between Corkickle and Whitehaven. Stay vigilant on your journeys and adjust your travel plans accordingly. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
You could bank an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like. And if that wasn't enough, you'll also get to drive away in this brand new motorhome. This brand new 2025 Benimar Primero could be yours. It comes with all the mod cons you'd expect from a vehicle worth over £74,000 and comfortably sleeps 4 people. This prize package is worth over £104,000. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Miriam, you can't be serious. Scrapping the triple lock on state pensions? Madness.
Andrew, we just can't carry on pretending. The numbers just don't add up. We've got to be honest with people. We've got to face the facts. That's what people want.
Well, that's what you get on GB News and on Britain's Newsroom. Lively debates, lively conversation.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first, and we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. The new Home Secretary says migrants will begin being returned to France imminently.
As Shabana Mahmood prepares to host world ministers, as I say, to discuss the rise of people smuggling gangs.
But as crossings pass the 30,000 mark this weekend, just days into her role, can Shabana Mahmood get a grip on the growing crisis?
And breaking news overnight, an Australian mother who murdered her husband's parents by feeding them poisonous mushrooms has been sentenced to a minimum term of 33 years.
Unions gang up on the Prime Minister. They're warning him against watering down the new Workers' Rights Bill. We'll be speaking to the General Secretary of the Trades Union Congress about that and much more live from the annual conference at 8:15 this morning.
It's 3 years since Queen Elizabeth II's death. We'll be remembering the monarch who devoted her life to royal service.
Prince Harry's home? Well, almost. The Duke of Sussex is landing in London later today as he begins a 4-day visit back to Britain. But is it time that King Charles reconciled with the modern-day prodigal son?
Chaos in the capital this morning. Londoners facing a week of travel disruption, underground and train strikes, all happening.
And in sport, the age of 22, Carlos Alcaraz won his 6th Grand Slam title last night, beating Yannick Sinner in the final of the US Open. In cricket, after 2 disappointing one-day international performances, England thrashed South Africa by the biggest margin ever in cricket history. Rory McIlroy wins the Irish Open in a nail-biting playoff.
Good morning. It's a day of sunshine and showers today, and it's really setting us up for an unsettled week ahead. Find out all the details coming up a little later.
It's a Monday morning. You're starting your day and your week with us here on GB News. I'm Eamonn Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast. Well, welcome back, Mr. Holmes. Did you have a nice break?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Lovely. Nice weather over in Belfast?
Yeah, unusually.
Is it nice to be back?
Yeah, always nice.
Well, it's nice to see you. We missed you.
Oh, nice to be back here.
Yeah.
Yes, with us.
No.
Oh, well, thanks very much. Is it nice to see us nice?
It's nice to see you nice.
There you go.
Yeah. Very nice indeed, yeah.
Oh, well, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you back.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm beginning to wonder now.
Well, we just really pushed for that one, didn't we, Quitty? Right, should we look at our top story this morning? The newly appointed Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, says migrants will be returned to France imminently.
That's as she prepares to host a security alliance alongside ministers from countries like America and Canada to discuss the rise of people smuggling gangs.
Well, it comes after 1,000 migrants crossed the Channel on the Home Secretary's first full day in office, bringing the total this year to over 30,000.
Well, this morning, a Daily Mail exclusive has reported that the government is looking to take over private rentals as an alternative to housing asylum seekers in hotels. What difference would that make? What difference at all? Let's find out from Oscar Redrop this morning, his former Conservative advisor. You know, this is as if this is going to change the whole map of everything. They're still going to have to build sites. These people are still going to have to be put in towns where they're not wanted. What way do you see this?
Yeah, it's kind of a scatter approach, and I think the government in many ways were hoping for it to go under the radar because obviously the asylum hotels have been so high profile now, protests and the like in communities all around the country, including where I grew up actually. And look, I mean, yes, the target might not be quite as distinct and in your face, but ultimately, you know, there's a justness to it which will feel or lack of justness, will feel so unfair to taxpayers and people with a housing market that is as desperate as it is. You can come to this country illegally and you'll get put in some, you know, and I've seen the pictures in the Daily Mail articles, great bit of investigative journalists from the paper, like some really, really lovely accommodation I wouldn't mind myself, to be honest. And that is going to absolutely stick in the throats of taxpayers. It's nowhere near a solution, and it's that kind of, I would describe it as it's like a sleight of hand trick that governments often, and you see it, and admittedly it's not just a Labour government, it happens across the board, and we see it happen with governments. It's a sleight of hand trick, and they hope the public don't notice. Inevitably, the public will notice, and it really sticks in people's throats because it's unfair. It's a fairness thing. And so...
Well, is it fair to then stand in this country and say, no, you cannot enter, or now that you have entered, we're turning you around and you're leaving within 6 weeks or whatever?
I think when you, well, I mean, like, you see the conversations and the language and the policy discussion that's happening, you know, at Reform Conference, for example, it is completely fair that if you come here illegally...
Well, you completely got support of the general public for this, but why are we not getting support from our political overlords?
Because it's awkward, it's difficult. You know, I mean, you look at Yvette Cooper in the year that she's had in the role and was clearly deemed to be not up to the job. You know, like, does she want to... It's not in the makeup, in a way, of, like, quite a traditional Labour politician, in a way, to do these things. You know, they'll have friends... And I know it sounds silly, and I don't mean it flippantly. They'll have friends mix in their circles, and they'll, you know... I know it's a cliché, but it's kind of true. You know, they have their dinner parties with... Do they really want to be... You know, does Yvette Cooper really want to be the person to make those really quite... like, that's not shade... You know, let's be honest about it. Harsh decisions. Does she want to do that?
To be fair to Shabana Mahmood, though, she is deemed to be one of the tougher talkers, if you like, now, at the front bench. So she's talking the talk. I mean, she's saying at the weekend over 1,000 people crossed on Saturday, saying it's utterly unacceptable. So she's talking the talk, but can she walk the walk?
Well, look, I genuinely, you know, I want... And I think many people do. I don't care what politician you are on an issue like this. You kind of want what's best for the British people in this country. So I hope that there is a step change with her. The thing I really get frustrated with, and you know, with all the best will in the world, I think she'll get to that department and she'll be shocked at how little room there is for her to make those tough decisions, because it's...
But who is in charge of that department, her or the Prime Minister?
Well, I think this is a very good question, Eamonn. I think Keir Starmer and his team in Number 10 keep a very keen watch on the progress that department makes. But look, I mean, it's a lot of these things. You know, it's lawyers. It's like those kind of invested interests that stop things like deterrence, that stop international lawyers, within the ECHR, that stop deportations and the like. And so she can do all the tough talk in the world. She can hold a summit like this. That she's holding today with other nations like Canada, etc. They can all pat each other on the back. They can all do the tough talking, but ultimately there are structures in place that stop that stop delivering for voters. So when you're sat here watching TV and you're sat watching politicians and you're going, why isn't anything happening? It's because there's all these little structures, there are all these kind of policies that have built up over a number of years that stop them doing it. So it requires a politician, and that's why Farage is doing so well, because people get the sense from like Farage that he'll go, right, does this deliver for the British people on immigration? No, burn it, bin it off. You know, let's start again. And that's what it's going to require. And hopefully, you know, she shows that force.
Well, let's hope
so. Well, Oscar's had his say this morning. Please do have your say, and we'll put that to him when he comes back to join us again in the studio in an hour's time. Oscar, for the moment, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Oscar. Well, a government spokesman has previously said that the new accommodation model is designed to work more closely with councils to ensure basic temporary accommodation is available for asylum seekers, reducing pressure on local housing markets and with full consideration of potential impacts on local communities.
Now, here's one that's bound to be one of those documentaries that you get on Channel 5 and true crimes and all that
Netflix.
sort of thing, and it'll run for forever and ever, this one. This is about the Australian woman who murdered her husband's parents and his aunt with poisoned mushrooms, OK? She has been sentenced now in Australia to jail for life.
Yes, Erin Patterson has been handed a minimum 33-year prison sentence in a case that has gripped Australia and the world.
In July, she was found guilty of killing her mother-in-law, Gail Patterson, her father-in-law, Donald Patterson, and Gail's sister, Heather Wilkinson. Sophie Reaper reports for us.
An act of evil that rocked a small Australian town. In July of 2023, Erin Patterson lured 4 members of her family to her house with the promise of a home-cooked meal. They sat at this table and began to eat a beef Wellington they thought had been made with love. Instead, it had been made with poisonous death cap mushrooms and was designed to kill them. All of the diners were initially treated at Leongatha Hospital. However, although she too alleged to have been taken ill, CCTV showed Erin stopping at a service station before going to the hospital. She also discharged herself from treatment after just 1 day. Meanwhile, just a week later, the toxic lunch would claim the lives of Erin's mother-in-law, Gail, her father-in-law, Donald, and Gail's sister, Heather. That left the only survivor of the meal as Heather's husband, Ian Wilkinson. Following a huge police investigation, Erin Patterson was initially charged with 3 counts of murder and 5 counts of attempted murder. That included 4 counts of also attempting to poison her estranged husband Simon on several previous occasions. In fact, he told a pre-trial hearing that he'd been invited to the lunch in 2023, but ultimately cancelled last minute. He said, "After the first time I got sick, I had the idea I got sick from Erin's food. As a result, he began keeping a spreadsheet of his wife's cooking and how it had made him ill." The previous alleged poisonings left Simon close to death, leaving him temporarily paralysed and with part of his bowel removed. However, the prosecution eventually dropped the 4 attempted murder charges relating to Simon on the eve of the trial, and so they were never heard before a jury. In April this year, a court began to hear details of the 3 murder and 1 attempted murder charges faced by Erin Patterson. Throughout the trial, Patterson maintained her innocence, calling the deaths a terrible accident. Despite this, in July, a jury found her guilty on all 4 counts. Now, the so-called mushroom murderer, she awaits a life behind bars, as her remaining friends and family attempt to pick up the pieces of their lives and move on. Sophie Reaper, GB News.
I wonder, has anyone you know ever tried to poison someone else with food?
Imagine trying to poison someone.
You say, you know, you got the mushrooms there in front of you and you thought, I'm not that keen on mushrooms, so you have the steak or whatever it happens to be, and the cabbage and whatever, but you don't have the mushrooms. She'd be foiled then, wouldn't you?
Well, you would, yeah.
You would.
Imagine watching anyone else fall ill around you and you're okay.
Yeah.
Awful. What a crazy case. As you say, I think it will be a documentary.
Oh, it definitely
It'll be all over
be.
Netflix
She
anytime
went and
soon.
picked them, she selected them, she then had different coloured plates for different guests around the table, so she knew which plates were toxic and which weren't.
Exactly. Yeah, well thought out, although she says it's just an accident.
Some accident, isn't it?
Yeah. 33 years in jail now for that.
Have you ever thought about poisoning anybody?
Maybe you should admit to it on national TV if you have. Anyway,
it's the thought.
Let us know what you think on that story. gbnews.com/you'll say.
Now, Craig Snell with the weather forecast, and they're talking about there's going to be a big bluster coming in for the rest of the week. So the weather's going to turn a bit worse and it's going to be a bit blowy. Let's see if he gives us an indication with that. That's what the papers are reporting this morning.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast. Well, it's going to be a day of sunshine and showers for most of us. And compared to the weekend, it will be feeling a little bit fresher out there. So we do start the day with lots of sunshine around, especially out towards the east. In the west, we're starting to already see some showers develop, and as the day goes on, they'll gradually become a little bit more widespread across the UK. Always most frequent out towards the west, and some of these showers could be potentially on the heavy and thundery side. As I mentioned, compared to the weekend, temperatures will be down a few degrees, but still reaching around 21 or 22 degrees in the southeast. So I think if you're in the sunshine, it won't feel too bad out there. So looking into the evening in a little bit more detail across southern parts of the UK, any showers in the east generally beginning to fade away, but they will continue for a little while yet across the West Country, parts of Wales, North West England too. Also, a similar story for Northern Ireland and Scotland. Western parts of Northern Ireland and Scotland continuing to see some showers. Again, some of these showers could be on the heavy side, but the further east you are, better chance of staying dry with some late spells of sunshine. And really, as we move throughout the course of the night, very little changes. Still the risk of some showers across the west. Greatest chance of the clearest skies out towards the east. And then subtle differences down towards the southwest. Later on in the night, we start to see the winds pick up ahead of this next showery feature, which will be arriving during the course of Tuesday. Ahead of it, though, under the clear skies, turning quite chilly in the countryside, but I think most towns and cities staying in double figures. So for most of us on Tuesday, it does start off bright with lots of sunshine, but this band of showery rain across the southwest will gradually spread into parts of Wales and Northern Ireland too. So quite a disappointing day to come here with the rain potentially on the heavy side in places. Ahead of it, largely dry, could just see the odd shower around, but in the sunshine, not feeling too bad out there with, again, in the southeast, highs reaching 21 or 22 degrees.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
7:15 is the time, and in exactly 1 hour we'll be joined by the Secretary-General of the Trade Union Congress, who's going to be talking about Labour's controversial Workers' Rights Bill and what is the future for that, now that there's been a bit of a cabinet reshuffle. I don't know if he has to worry about a workers' right. He'd have to worry about a workers' right bill, wouldn't he? Because he's not doing any work.
Well, he's not a working member of the royal family anymore, is he? Prince Harry we're talking about here. He lands in London today. We're going to be debating if it's time that he reconciled with his father, King Charles. That's next.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
It's Patrick Christie's Tonight, and here we do things differently. It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it? It's explosive. I mean, this is very good. It's lively.
850. Your government sat there, Sean, and it did nothing.
It's controversial.
And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born.
It's everything you need to kickstart your evening.
Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it.
That's Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, this Trump made a good start. No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Miriam, you can't be serious. Scrapping the triple lock on state pensions? Madness.
Andrew, we just can't carry on pretending. The numbers just don't add up. We've got to be honest with people. We've got to face the facts. That's what people want.
Well, that's what you get on GB News and on Britain's Newsroom. Lively debates, lively conversation.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first, and we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
When it comes to spending money, people do not want to spend money on clothes, on shoes.
Don't they?
On accessories. And garden renovations. What do they want to spend money on?
Well, I'd spend it on clothes, so I don't count in this one.
Holidays.
Oh, your
holidays.
holidays.
So this cost of living
Understand.
crisis, this is what gets me, right? You go cost of living crisis, yet airports are doing their biggest business ever. People, it doesn't come to saving up. People just spend money on travel. It's just unbelievable, it really is. And that was, we were looking at the cost of living crisis and the retail spending index and things, and airfares were contributing greatly to that.
Yeah.
So Steve Bird of Travel Consultants, which ran the poll, said people are not just dreaming about holidays, they're planning, saving and spending to make them a reality. That tells us travel isn't just about taking a break, it's about the experience, connections and memories that really matter until you get the bill.
Do you know what, though? I think that is escapism. People need to have something to look forward to. They want to get away from everyday life.
From reality.
Yeah, from reality.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I can look forward to is a holiday. So they'll make it happen.
Wow.
Whether that's extra shifts or saving up, they'll make it happen.
Well, we can give you something to look forward to now.
Yes.
The Great British Giveaway. And the reason why this is so special this time is because why, Miss Ellie?
Well, it's our biggest prize package to date. It's worth over £104,000.
I'd do like the 4,000. I mean, I'd just take the 100. I wouldn't be
we're not fussy.
greedy or whatever. But you can also get a chance to drive away with a brand new 4-berth motorhome and bank 30,000 quid in tax-free cash. Here are the details.
You're not going to want to miss our greatest Great British giveaway so far. You could bank an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like. And if that wasn't enough, you'll also get to drive away in this brand new motorhome. With thanks to Marquis Leisure, this brand new 2025 Benimar Primero could be yours. It comes with all the mod cons you'd expect from a vehicle worth over £74,000 and comfortably sleeps 4 people. This prize package is worth over £104,000. And remember, if you can dream it, you can drive it away. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. The winner will be contacted live on GB News, week commencing 10th November. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yes, good luck. Now, Prince Harry is set to land in London today to begin a 4-day visit to Britain. While travelling solo, Prince Harry has said he doesn't think it's safe for the Duchess of Sussex and their children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, to visit after losing his battle with the Home Office over his level of security.
Those close to the Duke say he hasn't given up on finding a way to bring his family to Britain. I'm sure he'll find a way. So could this be the trip where Harry starts to make amends with his father, King Charles? Okay.
Is there even a way back for him as the prodigal son?
And who cares? Anyway, let's discuss this with former Royal Gardener Jack Stooks, friend of the programme. Good to see you this morning, Jack. And Royal journalist Sarah Robertson there. Sarah, do you think people do care whether the royal family are united or not? Or do you think we've all given up to Harry in California and Meghan cooking jam?
Eamonn, you've just hit the nail on the head. I'm with you on this one. People don't care anymore. Harry has burnt his bridges fully with the British public. He's leaked out through Hello magazine how excited he is to be coming back. on this, what we're calling the pseudo-royal tour. He has 4 days of visiting his patronages, which includes the Diana Award, the World Child Awards tonight, and so on and so on. He has made it known publicly that he would like to have a visit with his father, King Charles, who he last saw for that very famous 30-minute meeting in February last year, when he just sort of swamped his dad unannounced on the day that it was revealed that his father had, or just shortly after his father had revealed he had cancer to the world. Charles at the time was very worried. The roles were about information being leaked. And we've seen since February last year, Harry making a series of damning and strange statements, such as questioning how long Eamonn, his father, the king, has to live. That's not the sort of things you see on interviews to the likes of the BBC, for goodness sake. So you can understand why his father was very hurt, very upset, the rest of the royal family are. And that trust, as far as I can see, has been irretrievably broken between them. But Harry seems to think that of his choosing, because he's now got over whatever slights or hurt he had about his family, that now it should all be, everything's forgotten, everything's forgiven, and he just wants to swoop back in as though nothing has happened and bring Meghan and his children. Well, I can't see Meghan really wanting to set foot back yet. I think she knows Harry's on a failed mission. But mission he is, and he is determined to see his dad one way or another.
OK, Sarah. Well, Jack, that's what Sarah has to say. What do you think? Because I think on a human level, it would be nice, wouldn't it, for a father who's been battling cancer to be reunited with his son, with whom he always had a very close relationship.
His son's not the problem. It's the pain in the backside. She is.
Well, she's not there.
She's always going to be there. She's always going to influence everything.
Jack, what do you think?
Right, you're right. It's Meghan controls.
Sarah, let Jack have a word.
Sorry, I know Sarah said, you know, nobody's interested in Harry anymore or what's going on with Harry, but here we are still talking about Harry today. So clearly there is still an interest in Harry and what Harry's doing. I do think that the king should see him. Do you know, the problem that we've had in the past is Harry's desperate to try and get back into the fold, and he's now found that the only way he can try and say that is through press, or through, like Sarah said, trying to leak it to somebody saying he's desperate to try and see his father. I know he said at the time, you know, he didn't know how long his dad had left. Well, that is quite a normal thing to say about something when, you know, when somebody's going through some kind of treatment like the cancer that the king has. I could say the same. I don't know how long the king has left, and that wouldn't be a big news story, but everything that Harry says and does becomes a news story. Now, I do think that as he's over, if he can, he should see the king. There's predominantly a family, you know, they've had a family fallout, and, you know, surely his father wants to see his son back in the fold. Surely his son wants to be back in the fold. And I think, you know, people without a heart will happily say they shouldn't have anything to do with each other ever again, which I think is massively unfair. I do think it should be private. I don't think it should be in the press. If Harry met with the king, I think it should be hushed up. He shouldn't say anything about it. And I think that's the only way that this is going to go forward. Harry needs to shut his mouth now, and that's the only way it's going to fix.
Maybe that's the way forward, that Prince Harry does go and meet his king because it's the right thing to do, to go and see his dad, but to keep his mouth shut about it. What do you think of that, Sarah? Is that a good compromise position?
Well, I mean, if we could trust Prince Harry to keep his mouth shut, then yes, but we've seen from example again and again and again, he can't be trusted, and this is the problem. The trust is irretrievably broken down, and the king and Queen Camilla, let's not forget the king's wife, who has been very worried about her husband as he's gone through cancer, were deeply offended and hurt by Harry's outbursts and behaviour. I mean, this isn't just Harry talking about how long the king has got to live, which I'm sorry, you know, you don't question that. You know, when it's a family member going through cancer, you don't say, oh, I wonder how long they've got. That's awful. You have to stay positive and say, you know, my dad's doing absolutely brilliant. I know my dad's going to beat this as he will do. You know, you should never question that. But anyway, regardless, the point is here that Harry has shown a lack of sensitivity. He dragged His Majesty's government through the court over the withdrawal of
we've got to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, both of you, this morning. And you've heard what Jack and what Sarah have both had to say there. If you agree or disagree, have your say. Get in touch and have your say this morning, and we'll reflect that throughout the programme.
Now, at 28 minutes past 7, do stay with us. Coming up, we'll be talking about the London Underground strikes. They're causing chaos in London this morning, but also all week. Barely any lines running.
There's Rory. He won the Irish Open nail-biting playoff. Paul Coyte will tell you all about it next.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Traffic on the M8 is restricted at junction 24 due to essential maintenance. Motorists should expect delays. On the M6 northbound between junction 18 and 19, a broken down vehicle blocks one of 4 lanes. Drive cautiously. The M20 westbound between junction 3 and 1 is closed due to a vehicle fire, leading to significant 50-minute delays. Normal conditions are expected by 9:15 this morning. And on the trains, Gatwick Express services face disruption between Clapham Junction and London Victoria. Northern's buses replace trains between Corkicle and Whitehaven. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
Because
the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, this Trump made a good start. No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Busy morning for the Shadow Business Secretary, Andrew Griffith, who we're going to talk to now. Andrew, because you're busy, you're sending out letters today to this new Business Minister, Peter Kyle. You've written an open letter to him. He's the Business and Trade Secretary. So there's an unemployment bill coming up. What do you want done to it?
Good morning. Look, I'm asking the government to follow through on what they say, which is it's all about growth. And they're quite right. The economy badly needs growth. We've seen employment falling. Lots of young people can't get their first foot on the jobs ladder. And of course, in London today, we're being ravaged by strikes again on the underground, on the tube. So what I'm saying to the government is you can't have a credible reset. You can reshuffle all the deck chairs on the Titanic, but if you're still pursuing the same course, then that is simply not credible and it's not what the economy needs. And this bill, it's a trade union written bill. Tony Blair never saw fit to bring all of this forward. Gordon Brown didn't. So it's a very hard left bill. It gives massive powers to the trade unions. It will chill the ability of any employer in the economy to hire people, and they should be shelving this bill, put the national interest first, and get back round the table with business, with opposition parties, if there are particular measures that they feel they need to bring forward at this time.
Suggestion be then to promote the growth and the competitiveness of the UK economy?
Well, goodness me, yes. And don't we need that? I mean, we've got a crisis of debt. We've got business confidence at its lowest level for 2 years in terms of things like manufacturers. It goes back much further in terms of time. The government rate of borrowing, when it tries to borrow long-term money, is now at a 28-year high. So increasingly, people don't have confidence in the economy. It is all about the economy. You can't maintain a successful, competitive democracy if your economy doesn't grow. Actually, that's what the government themselves said over the weekend, but they can't say that on Sunday and then come back into work on Monday if they can fight their way through strikes and carry on putting 330 pages of red tape employment law forward.
Can I ask you about Saturday, because that was the day when over 1,000 migrants arrived in the UK on small boats. That's the second highest number in a 24-hour period on record. Now, we have this new Home Secretary, don't we, Shabana Mahmood. She is talking tough on this, to be fair to her. She's talking about processing centres on MOD land. Is that something that the Tory party would support?
Well, look, words are cheap, and this has been going on for a very long period of time now under this government. They said they had a plan. They clearly don't have a plan. They could adopt our deportation bill, which would address some of this. They should never have cancelled the Rwanda deterrent, which would have had the effect, as many other countries are now pursuing, of being able to remove people to third countries if they can't be sent back from where they came. And I remind your viewers that nobody should be coming here from France. France is a safe country. We don't always agree with their menu choices, but they have human rights. And if people are fleeing persecution, then they should be staying in France. They don't need to take that dangerous criminal endeavour across the channel to this country. So talk tough by all means, but what really matters is acting tough. And let's see what the government actually do. It's not the first time they've promised to be tough and then presided over the biggest number of people coming to this country from foreign shores since the Norman conquest.
Well, we'll be talking to the government after 9 o'clock. This morning we're talking to the head of the TUC at 8:15. Andrew Griffith, for the moment, we've got to say thank you and bye-bye to you. Thank you for your comments and your contribution. Thank you very much. Paul Coit with the sport. Tennis leading the way. US Open last night.
Carlos Alcaraz beat Yannick Sinner. Played 15 times, and Alcaraz has won 10 of those, won in 4 sets yesterday. It was all about the power. I mean, he's so powerful. I mean, he was magnificent yesterday. So, you know, and these two are by far the best 2 tennis players in the world. You can see the new guard has now stepped up, and it was a great final. Cricket, I would have mentioned that third ODI, one-day international, England versus South Africa. Terrible first match, not so good second match. Then England go and break the biggest winning margin ever seen in a 50-over match, 414 for 5, and South Africa are all out for 72. 342 runs they won by, which is the most ever. Rory McIlroy won the US... no, he didn't. He won the Irish Open yesterday.
Good for him.
He's won the US Masters, but now he won the Irish Open.
In a playoff.
Well, it did, because he had to hold an eagle on the 18th at the K Club in Dublin, which he did, and then it went to a playoff. So they play the 18th and nothing, and then they play the 18th again, and then they played the 18th again, and that's where he beat Joachim Lagergren, who put the ball in the water. And so Rory, another win for him, which is great going into the Ryder Cup, which is only 2 weeks away now, which is Bethpage in New York. Finally, birthdays. You want to do some birthdays?
Please.
Yeah? OK. First one, let's go for him. Eamonn, you'll know who this is, and you'll know how old he is as well. So good luck. Here we go. First one, Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno.
Captain of Manchester United.
Bruno, that's a good question. I would say Bruno has to be at least 28. He could be into his 30s. He could be... Let's go for 30.
30?
Yeah.
I'll go 32.
31.
Happy birthday, Bruno.
Yeah, next one. Let's go for another one. Josh Butler, former captain, England captain, one-day captain. So he's still playing, very good fielder, good cricketer. What do you think? Looks about right 35, when you're looking at 35?
36.
35 is the right answer. Very good, very good. Let's go with another one. The mother of Andy, the legendary Judy Murray. How old is Judy today?
I know.
Do you?
I know.
Do you?
Do you really?
Yeah, I'll tell you why in a minute.
Okay.
Right, you go first.
Judy is 71.
No way. She's the same age as me.
38?
66. 66.
65. She's 65 today.
Oh, is she? All right.
65 today.
she's
And one more legendary film star, no longer with us, but how old would Peter Sellers be
how old
today?
would he be? He would be 100. What are you looking at me like that for?
You're right. Peter Sellers would be 100
I
today.
feel like this is unfairly skewed towards Eamonn.
Did you know that? Or did you just throw that in?
No, I just threw that in. He's bound to be 100. What was his last film called? He was a gardener in it.
It was Chance the Gardener. Being
there, wasn't it?
Well, it's the Dr. Fu Manchu was his actual last one.
Was it?
The Case of Dr. Fu Manchu, which
With
is
all
after
the nails and
that was it,
everything.
yeah. But Being There was a great film. And the Pink Panther and all the other stuff. It's
I remember going
100.
to see that.
How did you know that?
Well, just logical guess.
Ah.
It would be about that age. Yeah. When you think of
Very
it.
good.
I just feel strangely suspicious of the way you do that.
No, it's
Very good. Very
Thanks,
good.
Coity.
You're very good. You've been practising while you've been away on birthdays.
No, but I was convinced Judy Murray was 66.
All right, OK.
Anyway,
Yeah.
well, I'll accept your condition in that. Shows she's the same age as me. But anyway.
Yeah.
Thanks, Coity.
Pleasure.
Right, do stay with us. The first English-made single malt whiskey is on sale, but can you guess how much just one bottle costs?
Who cares?
Well, Chris Sakabusi and Dawn Neeson are going to be here with the answers.
I don't
That's
care. You get whiskey from Ireland, you get whiskey from Scotland, you get whiskey from England.
They do now, yeah.
Who cares?
Well, you would if you went with an off licence and they say it's 28 quid.
We're trying to get them to stay tuned. So do stay tuned. We'll tell you that after.
We'll talk about lots more interesting things than that right after this short break. Don't go away.
Can't wait to get in that sea.
Lovely and warm.
Just like the feeling of having great travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello there. An unsettled couple of days to come across parts of Spain and Italy with some heavy showers around. But for the Canaries, actually, next couple of days, largely fine, apart from the odd shower around. Plenty of sunshine, actually, for parts of Portugal and western Spain. But for eastern Spain, the Balearics, parts of Italy, southern France, some heavy and thundery downpours around. But for much of Greece and Turkey, fine a couple of days to come, with temperatures here reaching the high 20s.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Sunday with Michael Portillo from 11, only on GB News.
What do you think is the origin of this palace not being loved by the royal family as a place to live?
Well, you see, it's a little bit like an Edwardian hotel in Brighton. It's all long corridors and rooms off them. It's not very friendly as a place, you know. So the Queen and Prince Philip occupied the rooms along the Constitution Hill side. She had half of them and he had the other half. And if ever they came out into a corridor, you know, so it's just not very friendly. And of course, the other thing is that the gardens are now terribly overlooked by the Hilton and other big buildings, whereas the King living at Clarence House, he has a very nice garden there and it's not overlooked at all. I mean, I have seen Prince Philip's rooms because I'd worked with his office a lot and I did a book about his mother, so I was there quite often. I haven't seen the Queen's rooms, but I'd love to see them.
Yes. And at the beginning of Queen Elizabeth II's reign, the palace was not open to the public at all, was it?
No, it wasn't. And actually, she didn't want to go and live there either. She was living in Clarence House, but Churchill said that it's sovereign's residence and she had to move in. He forced her to move in. That was quite tricky because the Queen Mother and Princess Margaret were still living there at the beginning. And then they moved into Clarence House a little while later, somewhat before the coronation. The only reason that the palace was open as a public tourist attraction was to make money to pay for the fire damage of 1992 at Windsor Castle. before. And that was so successful that the opening has gone on ever since. And it raises money for the Royal Collection Trust in order to look after all the treasures which are held by the sovereign for the nation.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Miriam, you can't be serious. Scrapping the triple lock on state pensions? Madness.
Andrew, we just can't carry on pretending. The numbers just don't add up. We've got to be honest with people. We've got to face the facts. That's what people want.
Well, that's what you get on GB News and on Britain's Newsroom. Lively debates, lively conversation.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first, and we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Now, a bit of travel chaos expected around London today. I know it's affecting a lot of our staff in terms of getting to and from work, but this is underground strikes. Dawn, tell us more.
Yeah, this is more than just London, but it's mainly London today. The tube strikes today. The entire London tube network is down as the RMT takes action over something called fatigue management, and they're asking for shorter working week. They're asking for 32 hours. They currently work 35 hours now. I know there are some people out there who actually work 35 hours in 2 days. So on the surface, it sounds, and this isn't just the drivers, this is backroom staff and everybody as well. TfL have offered 3.4%, but say we can't reduce the hours you work because we just couldn't get the run the system, full stop. Now, the thing is, it is making London impossible to travel around at the moment. The cost to the economy is going to be absolutely huge. 230 million estimated loss. 700,000 working days lost across not just TfL staff, but also the wider commuter base. A lot of people will be going, well, I'm just not going into work today, I'm going to work from home. The roads are going to be gridlocked. It is an absolute mess. But this is just the start of what is being called the autumn of discontent, where we have strikes with potentially coming up with GPs, with nurses, with doctors. The Birmingham bin strike is ongoing. There are further transport strikes coming on. So it's going to be a long autumn for people struggling to get to work, get medical care. And it does, and the cost of the economy is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, because it's the wider economy as well, isn't it? It's people that won't go in for their coffee, who won't pop to a cafe, won't go into the shops today.
Yeah, absolutely. So, case in point, I mean, I've come in this morning and I was going to go home and then come back in again this afternoon on the train. Yeah. Because I don't like the rush hour traffic going back home at night time. But yeah, you won't do that. Small beer. But if I'm representative of one person who's just making alternative decisions, and sometimes what happens is that they never come back to the rail system, because one thing you can sure about, you can't, even if you sat in the queue on a road, you are going to get there. You never know with British Rail, which is a pity.
I thought they settled all this last month.
Well, that's another good point. Is that, this is the thing, when the government came in, they gave away all of this money, £20 billion worth of money to all these people. Yeah, and a year later, people are coming back because once you pander to that sort of mentality, well, why wouldn't they come back for more?
Yeah. Well, you open the door to other people, don't you? So I think they settled with the train drivers. I think what we're seeing now is it's backroom staff, so it's signallers and people like that, engineers. But they've obviously seen the train drivers do well and get their payout, and they're thinking, well, let's give it a go ourselves.
To be honest with you, you can't blame the unions for doing it. You really can't. We know the TUC...
Well, they know it works.
Well, the TUC conference is going on today, and you really can't blame them for going, well, OK, the government handed out money. Well, let's go for some ourselves then.
What about the, what do we see? Oh, yes, shrinkflation. Now, I bought a packet of fruit pastels over the weekend. I was shocked. I'm absolutely shocked. Right, so it'd gone from being that wide to that wide, narrow beyond belief, and it was vegan only. Not that it didn't taste the same, didn't it?
Well, it wouldn't.
Exactly. No.
It wouldn't have any gelatin in it, would it?
Have you also bought a packet of crisps recently?
Yes, and you get if you
get two handfuls.
2.5 handfuls, you'll be doing well.
You go,
you'll be doing well.
And then all of a sudden, you look at the bits.
Mars bars are ridiculous. You get the multi-packs of Mars bars, and they're just these tiny things inside. It's all for fools, you know.
Yeah.
Toblerone is losing 20 kg.
Well, this has traumatised Ellie this morning.
Yes,
I
loves Toblerone.
Yeah.
And so basically, I know it's a bit too early to talk about Christmas, maybe, but at Christmas, Grinch is in full effect. So Quality Streets and stuff, they're losing 50 grams, sorry, on their 500 gram box. So
Not again.
Yeah.
Is that every Christmas?
Yeah, so you'll probably need to have 2 to fulfil a family festival over the holiday now.
So would selection boxes not be too important anymore? I don't think they are. I think selection boxes are history.
No,
Eamonn,
are you talking about like that the little sort of
you know, the little trays.
What part of selection box do you know?
That's what I'm talking about. So that's what's gone down. That's little tubs. Is that what you're talking about?
No, you're talking about the little tray, you know, the trays that you give to kids and
the net stocking. Remember the net stockings?
Stocking, yeah. Well, yeah, no, mate, you don't bother giving it because
no chocolate
it's done.
I'd say they're getting smaller as well.
More of a pop sock now, less of a stocking.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but we still continue to pay for them. We can still do...
Well, no, you pay more and get less. That's the whole idea.
That's the way, isn't it?
No, let this English whiskey business, this bores me stupid. But
I won't talk about it then, Eamonn.
No, listen, why can't I disagree? Why can't I disagree with you? Right, you make it interesting.
Don't you dare disagree with me.
Come on.
Many men have tried that and failed. Right, OK, stiff competition for Scots as English whiskey comes of age. That's sexy. Don't look at me like that.
It's the first, isn't it?
Yeah, for more than 100 years, England did not have a single commercial whiskey, stop it, Eamonn, distillery, leaving Scotland to dominate the market. This week, however, you're not buying this, are you? No, however, those south of the border have made a small but spirited fight back by producing the country's first 18-year-old single malt in Norfolk.
So there isn't any 18-year-old whiskey, single malt whiskey in England?
No, it's now.
I wonder how much does it cost?
Well, I'll tell you, never mind how much it costs, how much they pay in tax. Answer, nothing. In Scotland and in England and wherever else, they do not pay tax.
No.
They pay it all in Holland or whatever it is. So I don't know why we think it's all so important to the country, because it's not.
Well, I mean, it's just a bit of fun.
But it's nice for a country to have its own whiskey. I mean, Scottish whiskey is world-renowned. Irish whiskey is also up there. I had some Welsh whiskey recently. So
is it good?
Yeah, very nice. I mean, I'm not a great whiskey. I'm much more brandy than whiskey, but yeah, it's nice. Yeah. You can't complain.
Well, this
whiskey
is costing...
with the ginger ale is nice.
Well, I'm terrible. I have my whiskey with tonic water and blackcurrant. Oh, I know.
Oh, hold on a minute.
That's exotic.
I know. Oh, whiskey and black. Oh.
There are Scottish people in Scotland that are having complete heart attacks.
Sacrilege. I know.
Whiskey.
Sometimes I do these golf days and you get these great, beautiful whiskey things given to you, and I put blackcurrant and tonic water in it.
What do we make of this woman in Australia, this Erin Patterson?
Oh, shocking.
This mushroom killer.
Bonkers.
Well, what I think is really shocking about it is that if you can't, and I hope it's not sexist, because if you can't trust a person in your home, so that's the person, not the woman, but if you can't trust the chef in your home to prepare food for you that's edible and not contaminated, then you can't trust anything, can you? And the home is the place of safety, security, place of belonging, fun memories, and to think that she's killed or tried to kill her husband, the outlaws, or in-laws, should I say, successfully killed those. It's just beyond the pale.
It's a horrible story, but I mean, you know, it's our estranged husband. I mean, you know, the fact that she used separate plates for her children so she could see who wasn't getting the contaminated food. It's just a horrible, horrible story, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, sometimes, you know, you go and families help themselves from the stove, don't they? But then she's plated it up and served it out. I mean, you can't get much cold, calculated killing than that.
No.
And I think, for me, it was just a shock of the homemaker providing food that was killing people at her table.
Well, we heard in court, didn't we, that her husband started making a spreadsheet because she had allegedly tried to poison him before.
Yeah.
And somebody's been in touch with Sue saying, I wouldn't have been making a spreadsheet, I'd have stopped eating her food.
Well, that does seem to be the common sense answer. Well done too. Yeah, indeed.
Divorced.
That's a horrible story.
Yeah. Dawn, let's just take a very quick look at asylum and barrack to square one.
This is actually more Chris's story, because Chris is obviously ex-army.
Well, it's a pity that because what? As a young soldier, 1975, I went up to Euston Barracks, and that was a disused military camp turned over for us, and was good enough for us. It should be good enough for asylum seekers. I can't imagine any asylum seeker coming to this country and having accommodation with water, electricity, going, oh, this is not good enough for me.
No. Well, quite. Exactly.
So that's what I want to say. If it's good enough for our soldiers, it's got to be good enough for asylum seekers. Because you're seeking asylum, and we're providing you the best accommodation available at our expense.
Yeah.
Chris, thank you very much indeed. Dawn, thank you very much indeed. To have you both back in about 40 minutes' time. Meanwhile, let's have a look at the weather picture for the week ahead. Craig Schnell with that.
Today, clouds overhead, total zen within. Box Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast. Well, it's going to be a day of sunshine and showers for most of us. And compared to the weekend, it will be feeling a little bit fresher out there. So we do start the day with lots of sunshine around, especially out towards the east. In the west, we're starting to already see some showers develop, and as the day goes on, they'll gradually become a little bit more widespread across the UK. Always most frequent out towards the west, and some of these showers could be potentially on the heavy and thundery side. As I mentioned, compared to the weekend, temperatures will be down a few degrees, but still reaching around 21 or 22 degrees in the southeast. So I think if you're in the sunshine, it won't feel too bad out there. So looking into the evening in a little bit more detail across southern parts of the UK, any showers in the east generally beginning to fade away, but they will continue for a little while yet across the West Country, parts of Wales, northwest England too. Also, the similar story for Northern Ireland and Scotland. Western parts of Northern Ireland and Scotland continuing to see some showers. Again, some of these showers could be on the heavy side, but the further east you are, the better chance of staying dry with some late spells of sunshine. And really, as we move throughout the course of the night, very little changes. Still the risk of some showers across the west. Greatest chance of the clearest skies out towards the east. And then subtle differences down towards the southwest later on in the night. We start to see the winds pick up ahead of this next showery feature, which will be arriving during the course of Tuesday. Ahead of it, though, under the clear skies, turning quite chilly in the countryside, but I think most towns and cities staying in double figures. So for most of us on Tuesday, it does start off bright with lots of sunshine, but this band of showery rain across the southwest will gradually spread into parts of Wales and Northern Ireland too. So quite a disappointing day to come here with the rain potentially on the heavy side in places. Ahead of it, largely dry, could just see the odd shower around, but in the sunshine, not feeling too bad out there, with again in the southeast highs reaching 21 or 22 degrees.
Today, clouds overhead, total zen within. Box Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Currently, the M8 at Junction 24 is experiencing restrictions in both directions due to planned maintenance. Drivers should anticipate potential delays. On the M20 westbound between Junction 3 and Junction 1 in Kent, a vehicle fire has closed all lanes, resulting in 50-minute delays. Conditions are expected to persist until 10:15 this morning. Please exercise caution and plan your journey accordingly. And on the trains, there is a Gatwick Express disruption between Clapham Junction and London Victoria, with buses replacing trains between Corkicle and Whitehaven. Safe travels to all, and for more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
This is your chance to win a motorhome and cash in our biggest giveaway to date. Courtesy of Marquis Leisure, you could be the proud owner of this 2025 Benamar Primero. It comfortably accommodates 4 people and can be driven on your standard driving licence. Plus, you'll also bank an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like. Make sure you don't miss out. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 225. 5 entries cost £5 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
The new Home Secretary says migrants will begin being returned to France immediately.
As Shabana Mahmood prepares to host world leaders to discuss the rise of people smuggling gangs.
But as crossings pass the 30,000 mark, can she get a grip on the growing crisis?
The Conservatives don't think so. We spoke to Shadow Business Secretary Andrew Griffith.
It's cheap, and this has been going on for a very long period of time now under this government. They said they had a plan. They clearly don't have a plan. They could adopt our deportation bill.
Unions are ganging up on the Prime Minister. They're warning him against watering down the new Workers' Rights Bill. We'll be talking to the General Secretary of the Trade Union Congress about that and more live from the annual conference. That's at 8:30 this morning.
An Australian mother who murdered her husband's parents by feeding them poisonous mushrooms has been sentenced to a minimum term of 33 years behind bars.
3 years since Queen Elizabeth II's death, we'll be remembering the monarch who devoted her life to royal service.
Prince Harry's home? Well, almost. The Duke of Sussex is landing in London later today as he begins a 4-day visit back to Britain. But is a meeting with King Charles on the cards? We'll be finding out.
Chaos in London. Londoners facing a week of travel disruption as underground workers go on strike.
And sport, the age of 22, Carlos Alcaraz won his 6th Grand Slam title last night, beating Jannik Sinner in the final of the US Open. In World Cup qualifiers, Northern Ireland narrowly lose to Germany in Cologne as Scotland played Belarus tonight. And after the Capgate debacle of the US Open, another child is deprived of a sporting souvenir, this time at baseball.
Good morning. It's a day of sunshine and showers today, and it's really setting us up for an unsettled week ahead. Find out all the details coming up a little later.
Hello there, very good morning to you. I'm Eamonn Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
For years we were all marvelling at the fact that Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II has left us 3 years now since she passed away. And quickly. I mean, you've met the Queen, obviously.
Obviously, yeah. Actually, I did.
When?
Kind of. I was doing it was the most embarrassing thing. I was doing a road show for a local radio when I was a young lad, and I was standing on a stage, and she came past. It was at the East of England show. She came past on a Range Rover, standing, waving. Yeah. And it was at that point I realised everybody was down there, and she was the same height as me, and she looked at me, and I went, Because I didn't know what to do.
Good for you.
I just didn't know what to do.
Seize the opportunity.
Yours went better than mine, right?
I get fed up meeting. Here's Elizabeth II. When she met me, there was us having a little handshake there. Here's the current Queen. This is Camilla. You've seen here, and you will notice that this is exactly what I didn't want them to show. Exactly wanted you to show the hands on that picture because she's got her both hands clasped around mine.
What are you asking her? You look quite tense.
Yeah.
Well, if you could see where her hands were, but funny, we're missing the whole joke of that one. And then, of course, there's this Queen as well.
Who's that? Where'd you get her from?
That's not really Queen Elizabeth II. That's an impersonator.
Oh, wow.
That's an actor who acts her.
That's not really you either, is it?
That's the one who Paul quite waved to.
That's the one.
We're getting very close to that Queen. Very good.
There we are. Anyway,
Very
we'll
good.
be remembering Her Majesty very fondly today. Top story this morning.
The newly appointed Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, says migrants will be returned to France imminently.
That's as she prepares to host a security alliance alongside ministers from countries like America and Canada to discuss the rise of people smuggling gangs. It comes after 1,000 migrants crossed the Channel on the Home Secretary's first full day in office. That brings the total this year to over 30,000.
Well, former Conservative advisor Oscar Redrop joins us now. Morning to you, Oscar.
Morning.
Do you think she can reduce the number of people crossing the Channel? Do you have hope in this appointment?
There is a feeling out there that she is not going to dither in the same way that perhaps Yvette Cooper did, that she will be harder line on it. But to be quite frank, unless there's real, forget the personalities, or they talk tough, or they've made some noises that sound a bit more, productive on the issue. Like, unless they really get out their own kind of echo chamber and actually start thinking about the really tough policies, decisive policies that is needed, then quite frankly, no. 30,000 in, compared to a one-in, one-out policy with France, which the Labour government seem very proud about, doesn't cut the mustard.
Well, a lot of people think you cut the mustard today. Brigitte says, I totally agree with what Oscar is saying. We have far too many people and policies in place that are working against this country. Yeah. And Tom asks, why is the government looking to use housing for asylum seekers? There are British citizens who are waiting for years to be housed. British citizens first before asylum seekers, says Tom.
Tom's absolutely spot on. And why the government are doing it, I think, is that they're trying to do this kind of sleight of hand trick. They've noticed all the attention the asylum hotels are getting, all in one place, protests, etc., etc. And so I think they're just kind of dispersing in a kind of under-the-radar way, as they'd hope. But Tom's absolutely right. And what Tom's picking up on there is it's unfair. Housing crisis, people in desperate situations in this country. And, you see in the Daily Mail today, some of the reporting and the pictures of this accommodation. It's really, really lovely stuff that people would be desperate for in this country.
Do you know the other big criticisms coming in from Mary and another Tom here? Mary says, Shabana needs to tell France, you're not doing what we pay you for. Tom says the French need to repay all that money that has been sent to them as they've done nothing to stop the boats. There was a lot of criticism geared towards France.
Absolutely spot on. And can I just say, not to deviate at all from the subject here, because it's absolutely linked, but yes, we've seen a new Home Secretary and a massive reshuffle, but there is about to be, for your viewers to really keep tabs on, a deputy leadership contest in the Labour Party. And that is going to be, I think, pretty brutal for Keir Starmer. And in some ways, it will be a de facto, candidates looking to, in time, I think, potentially replace Keir Starmer as leader. It's going to be very left-leaning. There's going to be lots of Labour politicians.
So you mean whoever is elected to that post will be the replacement?
There'll be people auditioning, both, obviously, in the weeks ahead for the deputy leader role, now Angela Rayner's gone, but there'll also be softly auditioning to, I think, lead the party before the next election, because I don't think Keir Starmer's going to stand the test of time.
But what way would they lead the party, Oscar? Because you look at what Starmer's direction is, and you think it's just being everybody's mate. Yeah. He just wants, I'm your mate, I'm your mate as well, I'm your mate, I'm your mate, and he gets nothing done.
Well, I think the left of the party, which we're going to see, I think, in this leadership contest kind of debate over, they're going to want to drag that kind of pleasing no one strategy almost from Keir Starmer, they're going to drag it to the left. And that's going to be, I think, publicly, doing that in a public forum, which it will be, is going to be really, really awkward for number 10. Really awkward.
Reports this morning that Emily Thornberry's throwing her hat in the ring.
Yeah, there'll be people like Lucy Powell, Emily Thornberry. These are people, and Lucy Powell just got sacked by Keir Starmer not too long ago. And you saw Andy Burnham, declared King of the North, who's probably on the left of the party, and I don't think is any fan of Keir Starmer. He's kind of recommended those two people. So in some ways, yes, he's dealing with immigration, all the outside pressures of the world in this country, but we're really going to see a step change in the criticisms from his own party, right in the middle. And I don't think Keir Starmer's going to be able to handle that pressure. I think it's going to be really tough for him.
What do you think it will be like having Angela Rayner now on the backbenches? Because she could be more vocal now, couldn't she, in criticism towards Keir Starmer?
I think she'll probably duck out the limelight for a while, which is, from her perspective, understandable. But, I'm telling you now, if you think that she's just going to, almost retire and just become a quiet backbench MP, no chance. Absolutely no chance. So that's something to keep an eye on as well.
Thank you very much. We've kept an eye on you this morning and you've kept our viewers and listeners entertained. Thank you very much indeed, Oscar Redrop. Appreciate it.
Oscar.
Thank you very much indeed.
Well, a government spokesman previously said that the new accommodation model is designed to work more closely with councils to ensure basic temporary accommodation is available for asylum seekers, reducing pressure on local housing markets and with full consideration of potential impacts on local communities.
3 years today since the death of Queen Elizabeth II, as we were mentioning at the top of the programme, and the Queen was Britain's longest reigning monarch before she passed away in 2022.
Well, in other royal news, Prince Harry is landing in London today for the first time in 5 months. Well, despite no longer being a working royal, he's set to carry out a run of engagements in the next 4 days, although it's not clear if he's going to reunite with his father, the King.
OK, well, joining us now in the studio is author and Vanity Fair royal editor. We say good morning and welcome to Katie Nicholl.
Good morning.
Morning, Katie.
Good morning.
Katie, is he a force to be reckoned with? Is he... What way do you see him? I often look at Harry and I think, I don't really have a problem with you. It's her I have a problem with. And I think I speak for a lot of people on that front.
I think you probably do, Eamonn. And let's not forget this is a solo tour. It's being billed in the papers this morning as a bit of a pseudo-royal tour because, of course, as you said, Ellie hasn't been over here for 5 months. He hasn't seen his father since last February when he bolted over here quite suddenly after the King's shocking cancer diagnosis. And, as understandably, it's his youngest son got on a plane to come over and see the King. I think it's quite poignant that he arrives today on the anniversary of the 3rd anniversary of the late Queen's death. But he is actually here on his own, carrying out a number of engagements. It'll start this evening with the Well Child Awards. Now, this is a charity that he's worked with, I think, for 17 years. He's patron. He'll be presenting an award. He always comes back for this. It's really important for him. But it's an unusual trip in that it's going to be 4 days long. He's here on his own. I mean, there's a reason for that, the whole Home Office issue and everything, which I'm sure we'll speak about later. But I think the big question on everyone's lips is there going to be this much anticipated reunion? Because, of course, just a few weeks ago, his chief aides were seen discussing with the King's chief aides, which led to much speculation about a reconciliation.
Do you think they will be able to squeeze it in this 4 days? Would the King like to see Prince Harry, do we know? Because there were reports in the papers that he was hurt by Prince Harry talking about, he doesn't know how much time his father has left.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a very incendiary comment and a little thoughtless on Prince Harry's part, because the King, who is receiving weekly cancer treatment, has been busier this year than many other years as King. So, yes, I think that did upset things a little bit, but Harry's done a lot to upset the situation. Yeah. That said, everything I hear from sources close to the King is that he's a very magnanimous man. He wants a relationship with his youngest son and he wants a relationship with his grandchildren. Geographically, there are a few logistics because the King is up in Scotland at the moment with no plans to be in London. That said, he does return here for weekly treatments. I think if he wants this meeting to happen, he will find a way of making it happen. And I think, this is years on now, and it is time to perhaps move on.
But can you move on? There is surely a trust issue, and that comes from the Meghan side of all that goes on. So no matter what happens, would it remain private?
Well, you say it's on Meghan's side. I actually think, Eamonn, the trust issue is also on Harry's side, because I think part of the problem, whether it's been revealing details of private conversations in Spare or going on television and saying he doesn't know how long his father has left, Harry has in many ways breached that trust between him and his family. And everything I'm told is Charles wants the meeting to go ahead, but it has to stay private. Everything that is said has to stay private. And in order to move forward, there needs to be private conversations, because there's a lot that needs to be said, I think, on both parts.
What about Prince William in all of this and the two brothers potentially seeing each other? Do you think there's any chance of a reconciliation there?
I think that's far less likely. And it's very interesting looking at the Prince of Wales's calendar this week. It's unusually busy. And in fact, when Harry's in London, William's in Cardiff. I mean, he's really nowhere near. So I think that's very, very unlikely. And everything I hear from the Prince and the Princess of Wales's campus,
we're talking here, and we haven't once mentioned the Queen. And there's been a lot of briefing against her. Can you really see her turning a blind eye to what has been said about her?
Well, I think as far as the Queen is concerned, you know, the one thing Camilla is a family person. And I think she has been largely responsible behind the scenes for a close relationship between Charles and William. And yes, has been hurt by some of the things that Harry alleged in Spare, not least that she threw him under the bus in order to get better publicity for herself. But I think ultimately Camilla would put that aside for Harry and his father to move forwards and have a relationship. The point is, this fracture at the heart of the House of Windsor isn't good for anyone. And we don't know how long the King has left, and we do know that he wants to see his family.
Yeah. Well, you've heard what Katie's had to say there. Please feel free to get in touch and have your say today, because Katie will be returning after 9 o'clock this morning. We will have a longer chat with her about this whole situation. What way do you want to see it turning out? Do you think there should be a reconciliation? Who do you think the problem is with? Let us know your thoughts and your views. Have your say on that. But for the moment, Katie Nicholl, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Katie. Celia's been in touch saying, I wish everyone would stop banging on about the King and Harry reconciling. It really is just between the two of them. He is no longer a working royal, so it won't affect anything regarding royal duties. This is about family. So do keep those views coming in.
8:15 is the time on this Monday morning. Hello, good morning to you. You're very welcome to the programme, whether you're watching or listening. Let's give you the weather update now. Good morning, Craig Snell.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast. Well, it's going to be a day of sunshine and showers for most of us. And compared to the weekend, it will be feeling a little bit fresher out there. So we do start the day with lots of sunshine around, especially out towards the east. In the west, we're starting to already see some showers develop, and as the day goes on, they'll gradually become a little bit more widespread across the UK. Always most frequent out towards the west, and some of these showers could be potentially on the heavy and thundery side. As I mentioned, compared to the weekend, temperatures will be down a few degrees, but still reaching around 21 or 22 degrees in the southeast. So I think if you're in the sunshine, it won't feel too bad out there. So looking into the evening in a little bit more detail across southern parts of the UK, any showers in the east generally beginning to fade away, but they will continue for a little while yet across the West Country, parts of Wales, northwest England too. Also, the similar story for Northern Ireland and Scotland. Western parts of Northern Ireland and Scotland continuing to see some showers. Again, some of these showers could be on the heavy side, but the further east you are, the better chance of staying dry with some late spells of sunshine. And really, as we move throughout the course of the night, very little changes. Still the risk of some showers across the west. Greatest chance of the clearest skies out towards the east. And then subtle differences down towards the southwest later on in the night. We start to see the winds pick up ahead of this next showery feature, which will be arriving during the course of Tuesday. Ahead of it, though, under the clear skies, turning quite chilly in the countryside, but I think most towns and cities staying in double figures. So for most of us on Tuesday, it does start off bright with lots of sunshine, but this band of showery rain across the southwest will gradually spread into parts of Wales and Northern Ireland too. So quite a disappointing day to come here with the rain potentially on the heavy side in places. Ahead of it, largely dry, could just see the odd shower around, but in the sunshine, not feeling too bad out there, with again in the southeast highs reaching 21 or 22 degrees.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
And with the time at 18 minutes past 8, a look at some other stories coming into the newsroom.
And a father who's been hiding in the New Zealand wilderness with his 3 children is believed to have been shot dead after a confrontation with police. Thomas Phillips vanished with his 2 daughters and his son in 2021 and has evaded authorities ever since. One of his children was found with him, and a manhunt for the 2 children who are still missing is now underway.
Donald Trump has threatened Russia with more sanctions just hours after Moscow launched the largest aerial attack on Ukraine since the war began. At least 4 people were killed, including a mother and her baby. 40 people were injured and are now receiving medical attention.
And stargazers across the world got the opportunity to witness a total lunar eclipse last night, also known as a blood moon. It happens when the Earth comes in between the sun and a full moon. The last total lunar eclipse visible in the UK was back in 2022, and there's unlikely to be another one until next year.
Still to come, reports of a fallout between the unions and the Prime Minister. We'll be putting that to the General Secretary of the Trade Union Congress shortly.
But first, a politician got booed at the US Open. Can you guess which one? Well, Paul Coit will be here with all of that next.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
Sunday with Michael Portillo from 11 only on GB News.
Pasquale, what makes a pizza Neapolitan? What is different about a pizza from Napoli, from Naples?
It's soft. First of all, it's cooked in a traditional oven, which is mostly handmade with a particular kind of brick, cooked at a certain temperature. And it's cooked at like a very high temperature, cooks in 50 seconds.
Wow.
That gives that softness and moisture, which is normally like you don't have in the other kind of pizza, which are more crispier.
Yeah.
You have to eat it folded. It doesn't, yeah.
You have to eat
people think
folded.
Correctly.
Like that.
Yeah, perfect.
What's this one I'm going to chomp into here? What's this one?
That's one of our classic, one of the staple. After the margherita, it's the best-selling pizza. That's Caterina, Santa Caterina, salame and chili. It's one of the best-selling, one of our classics, one of our staple pizza.
Gentlemen, it's absolutely marvellous. Does Angelo, does Naples claim to have invented the pizza? Was it invented in Napoli, do you think?
There's a lot of question about it. I'm not sure, but definitely Neapolitans, it's what they made the stable as a food in worldwide, basically. Mm-hmm. I think they've managed to push it towards the simplicity of this food as a very popular food, and basically starts to be a food for the people. It was everybody were having pizzas, easy to make in a way, simple to eat. You can fold it, you can bring it with you.
It's fantastic.
And, yeah.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits. You have the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. No, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Now it's time for our Great British Giveaway now. It's actually our biggest prize package to date, worth over £104,000.
That's a biggie.
It is a biggie.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's your chance to drive away also with a brand new 4-berth motorhome and bank 30,000 quid in tax-free cash. Here are the details.
You're not going to want to miss our greatest Great British giveaway so far. You could bank an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like. And if that wasn't enough, you'll also get to drive away in this brand new motorhome. With thanks to Marquis Leisure, this brand new 2025 Benimar Primero could be yours. It comes with all the mod cons you'd expect from a vehicle worth over £74,000 and comfortably sleeps 4 people. This prize package is worth over £104,000. And remember, if you can dream it, you can drive it away. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. The winner will be contacted live on GB News, week commencing 10th of November. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Today, we're going to be hearing live from the annual Trade Union Conference in Brighton. The General Secretary of the TUC, Paul Nowak, I'm delighted to say, joins us now. Conference underway, Paul, and lots to talk about straight away.
Yeah, absolutely, Eamonn.
Yeah. Paul, the thing I want to talk to you first of all is from another union, Unite, and Sharon Graham from Unite has been out there and she's saying that the Labour Party is saying it's failing to connect with workers. There's a feeling by me, by my members, by workers across the board that Labour's moving so far away from project Labour, it is hard to justify being affiliated to them. They may not think that's a problem, but it will be a problem. How affiliated do you feel to the Labour Party and Keir Starmer?
Well, obviously the TUC isn't formally affiliated to the Labour Party in the way that Unite is, Eamonn, and obviously decisions about the relationship between Unite and Labour are down to Sharon and her members. What I would say this is, even the Prime Minister himself last week said that he understood that people were frustrated and angry that change hadn't been delivered as fast as people wanted. And that's what the government was elected 14 months ago to do. That manifesto had one word on the front of it: change. And I think for far too many people that still feels like a slogan rather than part of their everyday lives. So today in my Congress speech I'll be asking the government to show whose side they're on, to be on the side of working class communities up and down the country and to deliver the change that people voted for. Whether that's improved workers' rights, whether that's better public services, show people you're serious about change.
Paul, I always look back and I think of my father. My father used to say of politicians, there's not one of them that's for the working man. And I look at Keir Starmer, and that comes so home to me. I do not see, and I may be wrong, and tell me I'm wrong, but I do not see a socialist Prime Minister, a man who is there for workers' rights, and there on behalf of workers.
Well, I think you should judge politicians by what they do and not just how they come across on the media, Eamonn. And let's give a practical example. The Employment Rights Bill that is currently in Parliament. This will be the biggest upgrade to workers' rights in a generation. It will ban 0 hours contracts. It will give people employment rights from day one. It will be a massive upgrade for millions of workers. What's really important now is the government delivers it and delivers it in full. And what I can tell you is that legislation has the support of voters right across the political spectrum. Doesn't matter whether you voted Tory at the last election, Labour or Reform. Employment rights, and that Employment Rights Bill is popular. And that is a good example of the change the government can and should deliver.
how confident you're feeling, though, that the government is going to implement the bill in full after the resignation of Angela Rayner. Do you think that may change things for you in your position?
Well, Ellie, I'm never complacent, but I am confident the government will deliver the bill. And we've heard government ministers come out the last couple of days and reiterate the commitment to delivering the bill in full. Just last week at a parliamentary reception, the Prime Minister himself spoke to low-paid workers and talked about the importance of delivering the Employment Rights Bill. And as I say, this stuff is incredibly popular with the public. And I think this is, a government that wants to demonstrate it's on the side of the working people will deliver the Employment Rights Bill and will deliver it in full. And part of our job at the TUC and in our unions is making sure that the government delivers on that promise.
Paul, who would you like to see replacing Angela Rayner?
Oh, Eamonn, you can't ask me a question like that.
I can.
The TUC is affiliated to the Labour Party. Sorry, my earpiece is just gone. No, we're not affiliated to the Labour Party, and that decision is for Labour Party members and Labour unions. But let me be clear: whoever it is, I want them to show very clearly they're on the side of working people in this country. That means delivering the Employment Rights Bill, and also means supporting measures in the budget that's coming up in November that are going to put money in the pockets of working people and ask those with the broader shoulders to pay a fairer share.
Can I ask you very briefly, we're almost out of time with you, about the tube strike in London this week, causing chaos and disruption across the capital as we speak, and also going to be very difficult for bars and restaurants. Are you supportive of TfL's action this week?
Well, of course I support the workers exercising their democratic right to take strike action. I think the last thing anybody wants, including those workers, is industrial action on the underground. Those workers lose pay after all. I think what's really important now is that TfL gets around the table with our MT and reaches a fair settlement. I mean, I think that would be good for the workers, it would be good for Londoners, and it would be good for business as well. But absolutely, those workers have my support when they take that difficult decision to take strike action.
Yeah. Paul, appreciate your time this morning. Have yourself a good conference. Good talking to you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eamonn. Thanks, Ellie. Take care.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's interesting you talking about that tube strike in London, and it's how this affects people. If people want to go to work, continue to go to work and whatever, we're listening to people here on very average salaries who are getting in touch and speaking to us and saying how much it's costing them to go home in a taxi. Do you want to tell people how much it's cost you?
Well, I just had a look, because obviously there's no tubes running. I just had a look at getting a taxi home.
Not to use the tube, but to use the taxi would be how much?
£100. £100 to go home.
She lives 1.5 miles away. So she does.
I don't live too far. £100 in a taxi, so I think the options are walking or getting in a very expensive taxi or a bus. But we are hearing that there's big queues at bus stops, as there would be.
It's really going to affect working this week, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's your cafes as well, and your restaurants, and all those businesses that rely on people coming into work.
Yeah. If you have a tale to tell, let us know. 8:30's the time. If you're travelling to work or school, here is the traffic and travel update. And in London, we reckon it's going to be pretty crazy.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Current traffic issues include planned maintenance on the M8 at junction 24, causing restrictions. A 40 miles per hour speed limit is in place, with delays of 17 minutes westbound and 6 minutes eastbound. On the M6 northbound between junction 3 and 4 in Warwickshire, a road traffic collision closed 2 lanes with expected delays of 30 minutes. Additionally, the M20 westbound in Kent is closed between junction 3 and 1 due to a vehicle fire, causing 50-minute hold-ups. And on the trains, expect disruptions on the Avanti West Coast between Tamworth and Nuneaton, and the Gatwick Express between Clapham Junction and London Victoria. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
What's still to come, Miss Ellie?
Carlos Alcaraz. He triumphed in the US Open Clash of the Titans last night in a pink vest. I know you're not a fan of the vest, that is, but you're a big fan of Carlos Alcaraz.
What underwear would he wear with that pink vest?
Probably pink.
It would have to match, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
Paul Coyte's the man who likes pink underwear.
He's up next.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world. Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
It's Patrick Christie's Tonight, and here we do things differently.
It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it?
It's explosive.
I mean, this is very good.
It's lively.
850. Your government sat there, Sean, and it did nothing.
It's controversial.
And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born.
It's everything you need to kickstart your evening.
Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it.
That's Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Okoye, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, you didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Time to go through the latest sports news. Bring us up to date, Mr. Paul.
Carlos Alcaraz sorry, I didn't mean to spit when I said that. Beat Yannick Sinner at 22. Now level with Boris Becker and Stefan Edberg, and that is 6 Grand Slams. This is the US Open. Let's have a little look from what happened last night. We don't like the pink vest then. Doesn't really work for you?
No, I don't know.
I don't like it. I don't think it looks very smart.
No, vest is not the right thing
I
to
still
wear.
like white. I still like the old days.
I agree with you. There's nothing to argue about.
Yeah, it looks nice. But anyway, this is match point. So he won in 4 sets. And there is Alcaraz. I mean, these two. I mean, I keep saying that, but they're by far
tell you what, the
best
pink's nicer
two.
than that rust thing he's wearing.
It's the same colour as his hair. There's the hair. There's the old golf shot. And who's in the audience there? Sergio Garcia. He's got to have something to do because he's not making it into the Ryder Cup team. So there we are. He's over the moon with that. And there is the lifting of the trophy. Carlos Alcaraz, US Open champion for 2025. So they've shared 2 weeks this year.
Congratulations to him.
Oh, he's some player. He really is some player. I should mention the football. We didn't mention the football. Northern Ireland. You saw this, didn't you?
Yeah, I was so impressed with them yesterday. They came out, they did the business. They held Germany 1-1 for 60
it's into
minutes.
the second half, it's in the second half.
And then it fell apart.
They were playing, when I mentioned they were playing in Cologne, I meant that was the city they were in. I didn't mean that they were smelling nice as they were playing German. I just want to make that clear right now. They were playing in the city of Cologne, not playing in Cologne. Serge Gnabry scored the first one for Germany. Isaac Price, he scored an amazing strike from a corner, this volley. Then they scored 2 in the second half, but it's a good performance to go over to Germany. But OK, they didn't win, but it's good for the future. Scotland play in Belarus tonight. And the other thing I just want to mention, and this is, we mentioned this earlier, the US Open, there was the Capgate situation, wasn't there? Where there was the kid, there was the tennis player held out his cap, and that guy ripped the cap away, and then the kid was left there. And it's happening everywhere, quite frankly. I can understand it, because sometimes if you hit a home run in baseball and the ball comes flying over, if it's an important home run, they keep the ball. They're often worth like £1 million. Some of them are just worth.
Oh, now I understand.
A huge. But in a general game, it shouldn't be a problem. And also, we don't do that. We don't do that in sport. Over here, if you're playing tennis, look, we see it already. I was just going to mention that. But in tennis, if you hit the ball over, you're not allowed to keep it. But in baseball, you are. So there we are. This is Dad.
This is Dad. I don't see what her issue is.
Yeah.
He didn't take it out of her hand.
No.
So what's her problem?
Well, if we go back, I don't know if we see it from the start again, and then for those on the radio, I'll explain it. That the baseball, the hitter, Harrison Bader, hits this home run, flies to left field, goes in to where the seats are, and often happens, a lot of people dive in. So there we are, the ball comes over, loads of people running down to get the ball, and it's this dad was first to it. So he walks over. Firstly, he should be able to keep it, gives it to his son, puts his arm around him, and then this woman comes running over. That was my ball, that was my... It's like, well, no, it wasn't yours. So she's screaming at him, and he's like, oh, for crying out loud, just give her the ball and be done with it. Would you have given it in the end, or just said, go away?
I'd have said, open your mouth, there it is. Yeah.
So anyway, the kid did well in the end. Let's have a look after that. So, I mean, it worked out well for him in the end. He actually met the guy that hit the shot, Harrison Bader, who then gave him his bat, signed bat. This was all done straight away because they noticed it. They'd seen it on film. He signs the bat, and then he gives him a load of goodies as well. So the kid ended up winning. But
well done, son.
Stupid woman that nicked it. And she's public enemy now, #1 now.
Yeah.
Everybody's after her. And there's rumours that she's even been fired from her job through it. Whether that's true or not, I don't know.
It's not a good testament of character, I don't think, if it's stealing from children.
Yeah, I think it's a kid. What are you going to take it? But anyway, that seems to be people these days. There's no honesty. There's no big good people.
You were in Dublin at the weekend.
I was, yeah. I was in
with Glenn Hoddle.
I was in Dublin with Glenn Hoddle. We split the G, by the way. We did the split in the G.
Oh, with the Guinness?
Yeah.
And Glenn Hoddle did quite well.
He did it. I did. I'll show it to you tomorrow.
You're working on your technique.
Yeah.
But tomorrow you're going to show us, you're going to slice...
Splitting something else. This is really going to be great.
This is fruit, right?
The future of sport.
Fruit, right.
Is cutting fruit in half and foodstuffs. You can cut a pretzel, and the sport is you have to cut it straight down the middle, no matter what the shape is, and weigh each side. And if they're both the same, then obviously you've done it down the middle, you win.
I'm not... Don't get me all excited about this, and then you don't turn up with scales or something tomorrow. Are you going to do this properly?
I am going to do this
If we
properly.
cut an orange or a grapefruit or whatever it is, you'll be able to weigh them.
Do you have any preferences of food you would
I'm
like
glad
me to
you
bring?
asked. Can you get a mango, please? And can you get some strawberries, please?
But they're quite,
light.
Yeah, they're quite light and also symmetrical. So if they're not symmetrical, then that makes it a little trickier to get the weight right.
Yeah.
Right,
I'll bring a selection.
What can we do that's weighty? Oh, brownies.
OK. Well, you let me know. You send the shopping list. I'll bring it in, and then you can
What do you like that's weighted?
I'd go with the flow, my friend.
Could you bring your own knife, though, or would you like me to bring a knife?
No, you think you bring the knife and bring the scales.
OK.
That would be great.
Ellie always carries a knife with her.
I'll bring a knife.
OK, fine.
OK.
Thanks,
What fun we're going to have.
It's going to be great fun.
We've had so much fun today, we've got to say goodbye to you. We've had a fun dosage.
I don't want to overstay my welcome.
Thank you very much
Courtney.
indeed. I wonder, would you weigh the same if I cut you in half?
But, well, we'll see.
OK.
We'll see.
Still to come, the Home Office could move migrants from hotels to ex-army barracks, right? Who's that going to cheese off? OK, we'll find out more about that with Chris and Dawn next. But first, if you're in search of some holiday sun, here's where it is.
Dinner under the stars tonight?
That reminds me of our travel insurance.
You mean all clear skies?
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello there. An unsettled couple of days to come across parts of Spain and Italy with some heavy showers around. But for the Canaries, actually, next couple of days, largely fine, apart from the odd shower around. Plenty of sunshine, actually, for parts of Portugal and western Spain. But for eastern Spain, Balearics, parts of Italy, southern France, some heavy and thundery downpours around. But for much of Greece and Turkey, fine a couple of days to come, with temperatures here reaching the high 20s.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Sunday with Michael Portillo from 11, only on GB News.
And with a dynastic touch, George Martin's son, Giles Martin, is involved in all of this.
Yes, so he's the keeper of his father's flame, really, which is very touching.
It's very, very touching. How can it be? I mean, we've been talking about a band here that was playing before we were able to send pictures across the Atlantic. How can a band that is that old cause such excitement today?
Well, it's such a number of elements. They encapsulated so much of the early 20th century music. Fats Domino, Chuck Berry, Little Richard, Tim Panally through Paul McCartney's father. He grew up hearing his father playing the piano. He had a big jazz band. They played around Liverpool. So all of that music went into the Beatles' crucible. And I find it so interesting that Decca get ribbed for turning them down. But those early sessions are not showing them at their best. And they say guitar bands are on their way out, but actually it took the Beatles to bring them back and show everybody a completely different scene, a completely different imagination of what guitar music can be. It took the Beatles 3 albums to really get into their stride, because their first 2, let's not forget, were sort of covers in a way. So there's a few of their own songs in there.
Yeah,
but
a lot of covers.
But with Hard Day's Night, it's all their own tracks. And what can I say? The energy of them, the invention of them, when you watch Get Back, you see how much craftsmanship they put into constructing a completely unique song. That's the thing about the Beatles. Each song is so unique. There's no replication in any of their output.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off-limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We've got Dawn and Chris in the studio to review what is in the newspapers, and here is an indication of that with the front pages.
The Daily Mail leads with the milestone 30,000 illegal migrants who have crossed the Channel so far this year.
Here's the Times. It delves into Sir Keir Starmer's cabinet reshuffle after the Prime Minister brought back some of Tony Blair's biggest allies.
The Telegraph reports on concerns from trade unions that the Prime Minister could water down the Workers' Rights Bill following Angela Rayner's resignation last week.
And here's the Eye, leading on the Prime Minister's promise to fast-track the closure of asylum hotels. So Dawn and Chris have their opinions on that. And let's begin with that story, Dawn, about the barracks, asylum hotels being closed in place of barracks. This is front page of the Metro.
Yeah, this is the hard-hitting main line coming out of Shabana Mahmood being the new Home Secretary, is that migrants will be moved out of asylum seeker hotels and moved into barracks on former military bases. Now, both the Conservatives and Reform have already suggested this in the past. We wanted to talk about this because Chris, as an ex-serving army soldier, you were in barracks, so you understand what these barracks are like.
Yeah,
and a lot of people are going, well, hold on a minute, if they're good enough for our serving armed forces, why aren't they good enough for migrants?
100%, and it covers a multitude of issues. So first and foremost, when I joined the army in 1975, we moved into disused barracks. I mean, they've been tied up for 6 months, but all of our time was then making sure that we kept the standard of the barracks, so they can be maintained. There are 3 different types of dilapidations, but you can maintain the barracks. And what you'll have the asylum seekers away from the community. They are protected. They've got you can guard them. You don't need these open barracks. No, proper guarded barracks like we were in the 1975.
Secure barracks. They're not free to come and go.
Absolutely right. And also for me, you know, if you're seeking asylum, you would accept that this country is housing you in the best accommodation possible. And I would go full Monty, for example. While you're processing these guys to find out the true asylum seekers, and we've got to remember that these are human beings, true asylum seekers, and differentiating the asylum seekers and those guys who are taking advantage of us, get them working. You come down here, you sit down, you work, you drill, discipline, dress, you get to go off camp in a group to the cinema or for a meal somewhere, but most of the time you are on camp. The society feels protected from you, and then you work your way into society. Those of you who are going to get into society, we will know who you are. You do England or United Kingdom in the contemporary world. You understand about the society that you're coming into, what to do, what not to do, how to be a great British citizen, and then you matriculate into the community at a given stage. What's not to like about that?
It makes sense to most people, doesn't it? So when you say on the bases in the barracks, I mean, they're secure barracks. They're not allowed out of their own free will, which is a lot of people have problems with these barracks being situated in areas. And when you say get them working, you mean repairing the actual barracks they're on, maintaining those barracks, which are in disrepair.
Absolutely. So, I mean, of course, initially a contractor will have to go in there and do the basics, make sure that the fuel and the light is all working and the services are working properly. But then your responsibility is to make it spick and span. When we were soldiers, we were out there clipping grass, painting bollards, just making it and being proud of this environment that you're living in. So these barracks have been disused, but by the time we finished food, they were tip-top. Get them working.
And you'd also imagine this would be a lot more popular with British people than moving migrants into new builds and sought-after homes that people would die for.
We have a housing crisis in this country. The Labour government promised to build 1.5 million new homes by the end of their term. It's not going to happen. I mean, they've only built 12% of that promise so far. So, you know, who are these new homes going to be for in any case if they do manage to build them? To house migrants?
Well, as soon as we start fracking, the better. You know, well, someone's going to have to work out, we need money to do this, how are we going to get money? We have to earn money, not tax money. And I'll throw my hat in the ring for fracking. What have you got to say? How else do we earn? Politicians keep talking about we generate wealth. How are they generating this wealth? I don't see them generating any wealth.
Well, no. In fact, the reverse. They're destroying wealth because, you know, the national insurance, the small, medium-sized businesses cannot take the red tape that's been put upon them. I know one of the stories we're talking about now, you know, about employers' rights. You know, the SME is absolutely struggling and is the backbone of the United Kingdom. Many people get their first jobs in a very small, firm. They learn the ropes of sales and marketing, etc., etc. We have been absolutely hammered. I mean, I had a business, I've still got a business, but now it's just me and few supporters, as opposed to 20 people working in my office, and I gave people their first opportunities when I leave university. I couldn't do that now.
What do you think of this workers' rights bill, then? Because we had the Tories on earlier who was saying, well, it's actually, they're dubbing it the unemployment bill. There's so much red tape, so much bureaucracy.
Yeah.
Is it really difficult for business?
Look, I can't understand you want to look after your workers and then they're having their first rights bill forever, for a long time. However, the government have got to try and make money somewhere. And my problem with this, OK, great, so we're going to invest in the Employment Rights Bill. They've got the lobbyists now with the TUC. They've got their lobbyists. We've got people lobbying for... but who's lobbying for the pensioners? I think what I'm trying to get to is I think in the end where we're going is in October, the pensioners are going to get hammered with a triple lock bill. That's where we're going in the end, isn't it?
Let's talk about taking a dog for a walk.
Oh, yeah, let's.
Let's finish on a fun story, shall we? Yeah, this is a story
I don't think there's anything fun about being dragged around by your dog.
Oh, gosh, you're so grumpy sometimes. No, honestly,
I'm being absolutely practical. Sorry, I don't understand when being grumpy. If you're being trailed by your dog's bringing you for a walk, you want to bring the dog for a walk. I have never been trailed around by a dog. Right. Right, so...
This is boffins, right? This is Daily Star, so I have to use the word boffins, have discovered that dogs can train their human owners. It's always been thought it's the other way around, obviously, but researchers have found evidence to suggest humans can learn new tricks from their dog. When a dog sets off in a particular direction, many owners will subconsciously follow them. And dogs aren't stupid. They know this works, OK? So if there's a particular bit of the park they want to go to, or even if you're at home and they want to go to the fridge, they will train you to do that. That's what this story is about.
Well, also...
They will train you to do it.
Yes!
No, they do. So when I used to get home, my dog would give me half an hour. I used to have 3 dogs. Shabba, Dillinger, gosh, Zen. God, my poor Zen. Zen would kill me, but they all passed away. But anyway... Dillinger has got the lead after half an hour. He gives me half an hour.
Use your little breast.
And then, boom, he's there. And you can't not go.
Yeah.
You can't not go. So he's training me. Yes. Mate, you've had your feet down, dog, whatever you do. It's time for us to go for a walk.
Yeah.
And so we're out. So they do train you. There's certain cues that they give you. It's time for food. It's time for walkies. It's time for me to go out to do my... Business, yeah, exactly right.
I walk with my friend and have a little mini dash hound once a week, and that dog, he's about this big, and he dictates the route. So he'll plonk his bottom down, he doesn't want to walk any further, and he says what streets we're walking down. Yeah. He'll walk.
So you've been trained,
guys,
by a mini
I
dash
believe
hound.
this.
On Saturday, I joined a picket line in Cambridgeshire for an animal testing plant where they put bleach in the eyes of beagles.
Oh, dear me. Yeah, awful.
And what's the really disgusting thing about it? It's all disgusting. It's not science. It's just awful. Is that the products that are being used to test, toothpastes, hand wash, all sorts of normal things, and I don't think we need it. And I'm going to do more and more about it as the years progress, I think. With it. But
and is it something like, if it passes on animals, there's a 95% chance it won't work on humans in the end anyway?
95%.
So it's not even efficient use of testing. Yeah.
Dawn and Chris, thank you both very much indeed. Thank you for watching. Here's your weather.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast. Well, it's going to be a day of sunshine and showers for most of us. And compared to the weekend, it will be feeling a little bit fresher out there. So we do start the day with lots of sunshine around, especially out towards the east. In the west, we're starting to already see some showers develop, and as the day goes on, they'll gradually become a little bit more widespread across the UK. Always most frequent out towards the west, and some of these showers could be potentially on the heavy and thundery side. As I mentioned, compared to the weekend, temperatures will be down a few degrees, but still reaching around 21 or 22 degrees in the southeast. So I think if you're in the sunshine, it won't feel too bad out there. So looking into the evening in a little bit more detail across southern parts of the UK, any showers in the east generally beginning to fade away, but they will continue for a little while yet across the West Country, parts of Wales, northwest England too. Also, a similar story for Northern Ireland and Scotland. Western parts of Northern Ireland and Scotland continuing to see some showers. Again, some of these showers could be on the heavy side, but the further east you are, the better chance of staying dry with some late spells of sunshine. And really, as we move throughout the course of the night, very little changes. Still the risk of some showers across the west. Greatest chance of the clearest skies out towards the east. And then subtle differences down towards the southwest. Later on in the night, we start to see the winds pick up ahead of this next showery feature, which will be arriving during the course of Tuesday. Ahead of it, though, under the clear skies, turning quite chilly in the countryside, but I think most towns and cities staying in double figures. So for most of us on Tuesday, it does start off bright with lots of sunshine, but this band of showery rain across the southwest will gradually spread into parts of Wales and Northern Ireland too. So quite a disappointing day to come here with the rain potentially on the heavy side in places. Ahead of it, largely dry, could just see the odd shower around, but in the sunshine, not feeling too bad out there, with again in the southeast highs reaching 21 or 22 degrees.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Major disruptions. The A720 westbound between Gilmerton and Lasswade is restricted, causing delays. The A38 eastbound near Newton Abbot and the A380 face delays from an accident. The M6 northbound between junction 18 and 19 has a lane closed due to a broken down vehicle, expected to clear by 9:28. In Kent, the M20 westbound between junction 3 and 1 is closed due to a vehicle fire, with 50-minute delays expected until 11:30. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast faces disruptions between Tamworth and Nuneaton. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
You could bank an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like. And if that wasn't enough, you'll also get to drive away in this brand new motorhome. This brand new 2025 Benamar Primero could be yours. It comes with all the mod cons you'd expect from a vehicle worth over £74,000 and comfortably sleeps 4 people. This prize package is worth over £104,000. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world. Am I allowed to talk now? No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact that Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Good morning. Could the unions be about to turn their backs on Labour?
Well, the General Secretary of the Unite Union says she's willing to withdraw support for the Prime Minister if the Workers' Rights Bill is in any way diluted.
Well, as day 2 of the Trades Union Conference gets underway, we spoke to the General Secretary of the TUC, Paul Nowak.
Today in my Congress speech, I'll be asking the government to show whose side they're on, to be on the side of working class communities up and down the country and to deliver the change that people voted for.
Yes, I'm here in Brighton, where union leaders are flexing their muscles in Keir Starmer's direction. Can the uneasy relationship between the PM and the unions survive the departure of worker champion Angela Rayner? Find out more with me very soon.
Well, the new Home Secretary says migrants will begin being returned to France imminently. But as crossings pass the 30,000 mark this weekend, can she get a grip on this growing crisis?
While the Conservatives don't think so, we spoke to Shadow Business Secretary Andrew Griffith.
It's cheap, and this has been going on for a very long period of time now under this government. They said they had a plan. They clearly don't have a plan. They could adopt our deportation bill.
Chaos in the capital. Londoners face a week of travel disruption as underground workers go on strike.
Those are pictures coming into us from this morning, and it's now 3 years since Queen Elizabeth II's death. We'll be remembering the monarch who devoted her life to royal service.
Meanwhile, Prince Harry's home, well, almost. The Duke of Sussex is landing in London later today as he begins a 4-day visit back in Britain. But is a meeting with his father, King Charles, on the cards? We'll be finding out.
Good morning. It's a day of sunshine and showers today, and it's really setting us up for an unsettled week ahead. Find out all the details coming up a little later.
You're starting your day and your week with us here on GB News. I'm Eamonn Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
Now, this may not affect you if you live in Aberdeen this morning, but certainly in London, massive amounts of people head into London to work every single day. And London is, well, it's what you're looking at there is that is a queue for a taxi. Would you bother? Could you wait? Could you afford it then? Because, Ellie, you were looking at what would have been a 30 quid fare has been raised to about 100 quid.
Over £100 now, I've just checked now. This is the thing with a lot of these taxi services, especially online, is they go with increased demand, don't they? And their prices go up. So people waiting for an Uber or something like that could be paying a lot more today.
There are more innovative ways now to do this. People not only waiting on taxis, but boats coming into play. And I think this is something that we should be doing more and more of.
That looks quite great fun, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, just it's useful, isn't it? It's straight, it's direct, and there it is. That's one of the way that people are using to get into London this morning.
Yeah.
But getting in, think of what getting home's going to be like as well.
Yeah.
You have been warned.
I've just spoken to one of my friends who usually has a 35-minute commute, which is just one bus and a tube. Today, so far, taken her 90 minutes because it's a tube, overground, walking and a bike.
Just some news coming into the newsroom this morning. At least 4 people have been killed. This was a shooting in Jerusalem. At least 15 were initially reported by paramedics to have been injured, 6 seriously. Police have said that those who carried out the attack at a major intersection at the northern entrance to the city have been shot dead. The motive as to who carried this out and how many attackers were involved was not immediately clear. But there you're looking at pictures in the aftermath of the scene as to what went on. Those pictures coming in from Jerusalem.
Yeah, that's breaking news in the past few minutes. 4 people have been killed in that shooting in Jerusalem. We'll keep you across that here on GB News throughout the day.
Main story this hour reports top union leaders are using the TUC conference in Brighton this week to plot against the Prime Minister. That says the Secretary-General of Unite, Sharon Graham, said her union would cut all ties with Labour if asked to vote today.
Well, joining us live from the annual trade union conference is GB News political correspondent Olivia Utley. Good to see you this morning, Olivia. And it looks as though Labour could be losing their base.
It does. The relationship between Keir Starmer and the unions has never been a particularly happy one. Keir Starmer is vaguely on the right of the party. The unions are obviously on the left. Keir Starmer, during the course of the election, said that he was going to woo businesses. That's something that pricks up the ears of the unions. They don't like it one bit. But until now, a sort of uneasy peace was kept by Angela Rayner. Now, you don't particularly think of her as a peacekeeper. She's a colourful figure with a lot of pizzazz. But actually, she was the one who was managing to bridge that gap between Keir Starmer on the right and the unions on the left. And one way that she was doing that was through the Workers' Bill. Now, that Workers' Bill is set to come back to Parliament this Monday, today. And that the unions here, union leaders who I was speaking to yesterday, are very, very worried that without Rayner in that position and without Justin Madders in the brief of Employment Minister, he was sacked in a reshuffle last week, that some of the key parts of that bill are going to be watered down. Now, unions are very worried about. They want this bill to go through its entirety. And although the leader of the TUC, Paul Novak, is at the moment not saying that he would like to see the back of Keir Starmer, when I asked him yesterday, he refused to fully support the Prime Minister. And other union leaders are beginning to say that no, they would like to see a change of leader if this bill does not go through. Now, the government is under a lot of pressure here from both sides. The unions are desperate for this bill to go through in its entirety. party. But on the other hand, trade bodies, including UK hospitality and plenty of businesses, are deeply, deeply worried about the effects of this bill. It is thought that this bill would cost businesses an extra £5 billion a year in extra red tape and make it more difficult for those businesses to get rid of employees who weren't performing well. So Labour is facing a real squeeze on both sides, from the left and the right, and it'll be really, really interesting to see where this bill ends up, particularly in light of the fact that Jeremy Corbyn has just launched his new party. Could we see unions bring their loyalty and their funding too away from Labour and over to this nascent left-wing Jeremy Corbyn-led party?
OK, thanks, Olivia. Next time we're back there, Defence Minister Luke Pollard, we'll be speaking to him live at that TUC conference.
Now it's time for the Great British Giveaway now. It's actually our largest, biggest prize package to date.
You say so, how large?
£104,000.
Get out of it.
I'm being serious. A brand new 4-berth motorhome and £30,000 in tax-free cash. It could all be yours. Here are all of the details that you need.
Wiser, wiser.
You're not going to want to miss our greatest Great British giveaway so far. You could bank an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like. And if that wasn't enough, you'll also get to drive away in this brand new motorhome. With thanks to Marquis Leisure, this brand new 2025 Benimar Primero could be yours. It comes with all the mod cons you'd expect from a vehicle worth over £74,000 and comfortably sleeps 4 people. This prize package is worth over £104,000. And remember, if you can dream it, you can drive it away. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. The winner will be contacted live on GB News, week commencing 10th November. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yes, good luck. Now, do stay with us. Still to come, Prince Harry lands in the UK shortly. Very poignant, because 3 days to the day today since the late Queen Elizabeth died. Will it be a chance for royal reconciliation? That's what we've been asking this morning. We're going to be talking about that next.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience, because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world. Am I allowed to talk now? No, that's it. This is where it matters. Real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Miriam,
You can't be serious. Scrapping the triple lock on state pensions? Madness.
Andrew, we just can't carry on pretending. The numbers just don't add up. We've got to be honest with people. We've got to face the facts. That's what people want.
Well, that's what you get on GB News and on Britain's Newsroom. Lively debates, lively conversation.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first, and we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
We're delighted to say getting guests all the time. Luke Pollard. Luke Pollard's the Defence Minister. We go to East London Docks to speak to him. Ahoy there, Luke.
Good morning, Eamonn. You're right.
Yeah, I was. I mean, there was so much to talk to you about. But first of all, I've got to ask you why you're on a boat, and that's important because that's important about something you're going to talk about today. And it's a strategy and it's a job-creating strategy. So tell us more about that.
Absolutely. I'm not just on a boat, I'm on a ship. I'm on HMS Mersey, which is one of the Royal Navy's offshore patrol vessels. We're moored up in East London for the DSEI Trade Conference. That's the big global defence trade conference where British firms will be selling their wares on a global marketplace. And I'm here because today the government's launching the Defence Industrial Strategy, our approach to spend more of the historic increase in defence spending with British companies, and in particular with the small and medium enterprises that are the backbone of our defence economy. There's so many of them exhibiting here, and what we're doing as a government is creating the environment and more funding going into skills for them to not only sell their equipment into the UK armed forces, but also to be supported in selling them into our NATO allies and into our allies further afield, including supporting our friends in Ukraine to stay in the fight against Putin's illegal invasion.
Can I ask you about the new Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood? We're expecting her to potentially announce plans within weeks about using MOD land to build accommodation and processing centres for asylum seekers. And some of the reports suggesting this could be like the Nightingale hospitals, set up very, very quickly in order to process migrants. Have you outlined sites that could be appropriate for this sort of thing? And if so, how quickly do you think we could see these becoming operational?
Yeah, we're looking at that at the moment. So we've deployed military planning teams into Border Security Command and the Home Office to look at military and non-military sites about what would be suitable for the construction of temporary but adequate accommodation. That means we can move people from asylum hotels into those locations so we can close asylum hotels. The PM's absolutely clear. He said so directly to me in a meeting last week, as he did to the members of the Cabinet, that he wants to see every single asylum hotel closed. We've got a commitment to do that by the end of this Parliament, but he wants to bring that forwards. And that means every government department stepping up and doing their bit to support that effort. That's what the MOD's doing. We're looking at all our sites and other locations as well as to how we can use the expertise that the MOD has, those people that supported the COVID response, that help with emergencies such as flooding around the country, how we can support in this national effort to close asylum hotels and assist in the renewal of the asylum system that will see us process applications faster, return people with no right to be in the UK, and slow the flow of those people crossing the channel.
Sounds good stuff. Look, maybe not such good stuff for you is the Secretary-General of the Unite Union, Sharon Graham, who's talking today about cutting all ties with the Labour government if you alter the, what bill is it? The Workers' Rights Bill coming up. How seriously do you think that? How damaging is that to you?
Well, I don't think Sharon has anything to worry about. Look, I'm a proud to be a Unite member, proud to be a trade union member, and what we've proposed in the legislation, the workers' rights legislation, we're committed to. The biggest upgrade of workers' rights in a generation. It's something the Prime Minister's been clear on. Every single Labour MP is committed to because it was in our manifesto, and it will upgrade rights. It will support sick pay. It will deal with the insecurity of work that we've seen on the rise over the last few decades. And at the same time, I think it's really important that you can make the case that you can be pro-worker and pro-business at the same time. That's what this government is. We're seeing that in terms of driving growth, not just in using defence as an engine for growth, but supporting it across the economy, and it's working. The UK had the highest growth of any G7 country for the first half of this year, but we want to go further, and I think supporting people in work, helping more people to get into work, and making sure they're protected from bad bosses when they are in employment is an important part of a proper functioning economy.
Graham's got nothing to worry about then.
No, I don't think she has, but it's a fair question to ask, but it's an easy answer to give. We're solid and committed to delivering the biggest upgrade of workers' rights in a generation. The legislation's going through Parliament, and we're committed to putting that on the statute books, ensuring that workers get those protections from day one of their employment.
There is a lot of nervousness, though, isn't there? And you can understand that after the departure of Angela Rayner. She was seen as this peacemaker, if you like, between the unions, and sometimes that uneasy relationship between the Labour government and the unions. But with her gone now as Deputy Prime Minister, we are going to be looking ahead to this deputy leadership contest. Who would you be backing to take up that position?
Oh, I haven't seen the list of candidates yet, but I know we've got some incredible talent on the Labour benches. Now, this is a role that's a political role, being deputy leader of the party. And I hope that in the contest that's going to be taking place, our NEC, our governing body, will set out the timetable and the rules very shortly. I hope we'll have a debate about how we can go faster and further to implement more of our manifesto quicker, because people are impatient for change. I'm impatient for change, and I know ministers across the government want to see the change that we're elected to deliver delivered faster. So if we can have a debate that focuses on how do we drive growth, how do we drive down inequality and poverty, how do we further cut NHS waiting lists, and importantly for me, how do we make sure that every single child goes to school in the mornings with a full belly so they can learn. These are opportunities that I think will unite not just the Labour movement and the Labour Party, but those voters that put their trust in Labour at the general election to be able to say, yes, more of that. But that's a debate that I'm looking forward to in the coming weeks ahead.
Good luck to you. Thanks, Luke Pollard, and good luck with your defence industrial strategy, which we look forward to reporting on later today. Thank you for the moment.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Now, would you believe it's 3 years today since the death of the late Queen Elizabeth II?
Well, the Queen was Britain's longest reigning monarch before she passed away in 2022.
Well, in other royal news today, Prince Harry is landing in London for the first time in 5 months.
Although it's not clear if he will be reunited with the Prince of Wales or the King.
Well, let's speak now to Katie Nicholl, the Vanity Fair royal editor and the author who joins us in the studio. Morning to you, Katie.
Hello again.
Before we get into Prince Harry, can we talk about the late Queen Elizabeth? Because it is so poignant, isn't it? 3 years today.
It's astonishing that it's been 3 years. I mean, I remember that day so clearly. In fact, I was on my way to Buckingham Palace to meet the late Queen's then head of comms. And, you know, although we knew that she wasn't in the best of health when she died, it did feel like an absolute shock. You know, this Queen who we'd had for 70 years, who was on our postage stamps, on our coinage, in our living rooms every Christmas day. I mean, she was such an intricate part of the fabric of our society. And I think many of us just wondered how it was going to be under the reign of King Charles, even though he had also been the longest-serving Prince of Wales. And I think when you reflect on the past 3 years, which have been extraordinary, you know, the King, who's gone through his own cancer diagnosis, has achieved a huge amount. But I think his greatest success has been in not changing things too quickly. That sort of sense of consistency is something that has kept us all feeling, particularly in the midst of all the turmoil of our political world,
Yeah.
feeling pretty stable as a country.
And yet there is turmoil at the house, in the centre of the House of Windsor, with Prince Harry still being estranged from his father and his brother. But there are rumours of royal reconciliation on the cards because he's here in Britain for 4 days.
That's right, Ellie. There are rumours of reconciliation because of this 4-day unprecedented visit. It's going to be the longest time he's been over here in many years. He hasn't seen his father for, I think it's about 20 months, when he came over very briefly from LA after the King was diagnosed with cancer. You know, there wasn't much time for a meeting then. It was an impromptu visit, lasted all of 30 minutes. Harry's now here for 4 days. Geographically, there will be challenges because the King is up in Scotland at Birkhall, where he will reside until the visit later this month of President Trump when he's coming back to the capital. He does come down here for weekly cancer treatments. There is definitely going to be an opportunity for a meeting, and because Charles's aides have been seen speaking with Harry's aides, that has led to a whole plethora of speculation. And I think there is a sense that Harry's gone on the record publicly to say he wants a reconciliation with his father. The King definitely wants to have some sort of a relationship. So I think everyone's hopeful that there will be some kind of meeting. Whether or not we hear about it, I mean, the palace is staying notably tight-lipped on this. I mean, we've asked the questions, is there going to be a meeting, to which we've been told anything that happens will be private. And I think that word is key, because I think if it's not private, then any chance of a long-term reconciliation is under jeopardy.
OK. Katie, as always, so good to see you. Thank you very much
for
coming in and joining us.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you very much indeed. Britain's Newsroom up next with Andrew and Miriam. And we're delighted we have Miriam. I don't know where that Andrew is, getting his makeup on.
He is on his way, but as you know, there are tube strikes in London, and I think he's been caught up with it. It's very, very busy in London this morning. But he will be here in just a few minutes for the programme. We've got lots coming up. We're looking into the case of a judge who sparked fury when releasing the mastermind of the 7/7 terror atrocities. He wished him well and said that he probably had an unpleasant time in American custody. So we'll be asking if this judge should be sacked, as Robert Jenrick has called for, and whether or not we are being far too soft on terrorists. He's due now to walk free without a tag. We've also got an interview with the former Labour MP, Rosie Duffield, live on the programme, getting her take on Labour's recent woes. So lots coming up.
Really interesting stuff about the unions this morning. It looks as though Labour could be losing their base with that. I mean, especially if they water down the Workers' Rights Bill.
Absolutely. And, of course, Angela Rayner was the champion of that bill. And the union's very worried now that it won't continue. But business leaders hoping that it doesn't, because put even more pressure on them when they're trying to employ people. So a new week for Labour, but it doesn't look like their problems have gone anywhere.
No, certainly not.
OK, well, you have a good show from 9:30. Thank you to everybody who's been watching us from 6 o'clock this morning. We'll be back tomorrow morning to do it all again, but we leave you now in the hands of Miriam.
And we'll be up soon, but first of all, here's your weather.
Today, clouds overhead, total zen within. Box Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast. Well, it's going to be a day of sunshine and showers for most of us. And compared to the weekend, it will be feeling a little bit fresher out there. So we do start the day with lots of sunshine around, especially out towards the east. In the west, we're starting to already see some showers develop, and as the day goes on, they'll gradually become a little bit more widespread across the UK. Always most frequent out towards the west, and some of these showers could be potentially on the heavy and thundery side. As I mentioned, compared to the weekend, temperatures will be down a few degrees, but still reaching around 21 or 22 degrees in the southeast. So I think if you're in the sunshine, it won't feel too bad out there. So looking into the evening in a little bit more detail across southern parts of the UK, any showers in the east generally beginning to fade away, but they will continue for a little while yet across the West Country, parts of Wales, northwest England too. Also, a similar story for Northern Ireland and Scotland. Western parts of Northern Ireland and Scotland continuing to see some showers. Again, some of these showers could be on the heavy side, but the further east you are, the better chance of staying dry with some late spells of sunshine. And really, as we move throughout the course of the night, very little changes. Still the risk of some showers across the west. Greatest chance of the clearest skies out towards the east. And then subtle differences down towards the southwest later on in the night. We start to see the winds pick up ahead of this next showery feature, which will be arriving during the course of Tuesday. Ahead of it, though, under the clear skies, turning quite chilly in the countryside, but I think most towns and cities staying in double figures. So for most of us on Tuesday, it does start off bright with lots of sunshine, but this band of showery rain across the southwest will gradually spread into parts of Wales and Northern Ireland too. So quite a disappointing day to come here with the rain potentially on the heavy side in places. Ahead of it, largely dry, could just see the odd shower around, but in the sunshine, not feeling too bad out there, with again in the southeast highs reaching 21 or 22 degrees.
Today, clouds overhead. Total zen within. Box Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News